Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Folsom City Council for June 11th, 2024. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council members Rodriguez.
Here.
Rohrbaugh.
Here.
Aquino.
Here.
Chalem-Cherla.
Here.
And Kozlowski.
Also here, and if everybody will please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start the evening off with business from the floor. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on items that are not already on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
You do. Your first speaker this evening is going to be the group Summer for Hope, and that group will be followed by Alma Redhead. So come on down, girls.
Summer for hope. I like that.
No.
No, the podium.
One day you will be here. I assure you. Yes.
All right, you each get 20 seconds.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Summer for Hope started off as a fun venture, but everything changed with one question. What is the purpose of the venture? That's when we stumbled upon the story of a girl named Ashley who had chronic health conditions and decided to dedicate our initiative to a good cause. Last year, we donated $600 to the Children's Miracle Network through our bracelet and keychain sales and helped people like her and others through their very difficult situation. This year, we are focused on the Folsom Zoo, where amazing animals need our help. Throughout the years, we have made incredible memories at our local zoo.
It has come to our attention that recently the Folsom Zoo has been running out of funding and donations, so we immediately took action. We can't stand by and see these awesome animals lose their wonderful home.
Oh.
Our goal is to donate $1,000 to the Folsom Zoo this year, but we do not have a lot of funding for our materials. So we use a percentage of our sales to buy materials, as we already bought over $300 worth of materials.
With each purchase, you directly contribute to the well-being of the animals. Every dollar we make counts toward a better and more prosperous life for them.
Let's ensure a brighter future for the Folsom Zoo and more. Join us in making a difference for a better community, one purchase at a time. Mother Teresa said, "It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving." Thank you, and we hope you support our cause.
Ladies. We don't normally ask questions of people in this part of the meeting, but what is it that you're making and you're selling?
Where is mine?
So we make high quality handmade jewelry. So we create seed bead bracelets and hishi bracelets, and also necklaces and anklets, etc.
Okay, so for the millions of people that are watching this meeting at home, how can they get a hold of you to purchase one of these homemade or custom pieces of jewelry?
So usually we go door to door and do sales directly to the customers' homes, and that way we can give them whatever orders they want. And we also set up some stalls in specific areas to sell specific amounts of bracelets and jewelry.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. All right, good luck.
Just so that you know, to get a table at the farmer's market is only $25. And you have a wide range of customers on Saturday mornings.
Yeah. Mayor, there was a big community festival last Sunday, and I saw these wonderful kids selling. I bought my YK keychain. I was looking every pocket, but I changed my pant. Anyway, I encourage them to come and speak to all of us. It's a perfect moment when they're talking about budget, raising funds, and we are talking about this thick book, budgets. Thank you again, especially parents, if you are watching up there also. Thank you for encouraging your kids, getting them into the community mindset and community service. Wonderful job, kiddos.
Thank. Come on
If
up
you,
to
if
the
you could go on
microphone.
the microphone, that'd be great.
So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. So like I just have one question, like the kids did last year and this year as well. So they are looking for more avenues where they can show their whatever the creativity, right? And at the same time, they want to raise funds for some good causes this year, like Folsom Zoo, right? So like maybe help us out, like if there are any other, like you said, like farmers market, right? And if there are any other places like that where they can set up the stall and start making some sales, right? And everything, like most of the money, right, like other than the material, will be all donated to the good causes.
We'll reach out to you with some ideas.
Okay,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Okay, our next speaker will be Alma Redhead, who will be followed by Liz Gallagher.
Good evening, or is it still afternoon?
Somewhere.
Good evening. My name is Alma Redhead. I'm here I'm a volunteer for the Folsom Juneteenth Festival that's happening at Black Miners Bar, June 22nd. This year on Saturday. And so I'm excited to celebrate the Juneteenth at the Black Miners Bar because it signifies freedom. It highlights the Black community and our contribution to the nation, and it brings communities together. And so this is a rich cultural experience that everybody can participate in. When I moved here in 2018, I was driving down, I forget the street it's on, but I saw this sign that said Negro Bar. And I thought, oh my goodness, I felt terrified. So I never turned to go in there. I would just hit the gas when I go past. But last year, they gave a Juneteenth celebration there, and so I went in there, and so I went and I turned to the left, and I went down there. There was nothing down there. I was so afraid. I turned around, I went back the other way to discover this beautiful lake where everybody was parked and everything. And so this year, Juneteenth Festival is being sponsored down there. The name has changed to Black Miners Bar. And of course, as you can imagine, I feel more at ease about being there. But I'm here, I wanted to say that cities that support the Juneteenth event, they make a contribution to the whole entire community. We get to discover each other and learn what we're doing. So I wanted to ask the mayor and the city if everybody can come out and support us. As you can imagine, we do need funding to help make it happen. The city needs to know that it's there. We've invited a lot of people. There's horseback riding, a petting zoo. There's things for the kids, and there's good food and just arts and crafts and things that signify community. I'm very excited about it. So I wanted to come here and ask for money and support and just let the community know that we're there and we need y'all's support.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, our next speaker will be Liz Gallagher, who will be followed by Sherry Richter.
Are you going to talk about the same topic?
Why, yes, I am.
Welcome.
I have I'm volunteering for Juneteenth at Folsom Black Miners Bar. This is the third Juneteenth there. The first one was celebrated in a very tiny community of people that had pushed for years for the name change. And I want to celebrate at Black Miners Bar specifically because now people can feel safe there. And I remember Mike from the very first meetings that we had for the name change, and I remember Sarah from that as well. And it just means so much. And I'd like to read the petition that shifted this name change into reality. It was from Phaedra Jones, and it got 67,000 plus signatures from the area. She says, while working with Uber Eats I drove through the town of Folsom, California, and stopped at a red light. In the distance, I saw a sign across the street that I will never forget. This sign read Negro Bar Picnic Area with an arrow pointing across the bridge. Mind you, the sign was only a couple of feet in front of another bar called the Cliff House of Folsom. When I saw this, my first thought was, what the heck does this mean? A bar behind it was a white bar only, and across the way was for Negroes? I was so confused, shocked, angry, put down, sad, hurt, disrespected, and in disbelief. I couldn't believe that I had actually seen a sign that read Negro Bar. When I saw that sign, I immediately felt uncomfortable. My stomach started hurting. I rolled my window up and made sure that I looked in my mirror every 10 seconds. I couldn't wait to find the nearest freeway out of that town. The name was changed in 2022 in the summer to Black Miners Bar in a comprehensive voting system that was worked on specifically by a lot of people in the state and the community here. And it's so important now to fill that space with a better energy. There's still people that might feel fear for going there. I've talked to a lot of people, I go there a lot, and they're scared to bring people there that aren't white. There's a big showing down there of a lot of American flags and Trump people. I go there a lot. So I wanted to shift this energy here. And I really, really, really hope that people can come down and support. It's a free event. All parking is $10 to get in, but we can shift this energy here.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next speaker will be Sherry Richter, who will be followed by, looks like Nancy Perry.
Okay, hopefully I get this to work.
Hello.
I've got a presentation.
Allegedly.
Yeah, seriously, it worked before. Okay. Why isn't this coming up? Oh, here we go. How do I get it up to?
I'll get it. I got it, Steve. It just takes it a second to cycle through. There you go.
All right, thank you. It is impossible to accurately convey the significance and importance of the role that the Folsom City Zoo Sanctuary plays in the fabric and history of Folsom. Although I tried my best at the last meeting in the 2 minutes and 57 seconds that I spoke, but I thought that since they say that picture is worth 1,000 words, maybe a picture portrayal would be helpful. Over 60 years ago, the zoo started when the then zoo park superintendent, Gordon Brong, was asked to care for a bear cub named Smokey, who was orphaned and injured after a forest fire. The rest, as they say, is history. Tonight, we can only highlight a few of the programs and events that the zoo offers. Every year, we educate over 150,000 people. 2,000 people hold memberships through the Friends organizations, and we regularly email over 8,000 people. Often there are long lines even before the zoo opens. In addition to the docent-led tours, many groups, both large and small, come as self-guided tours. On the weekends, the zoo runs the Animal Interpreter program, where several animals that aren't normally available for up-close viewing are brought into the zoo. Here you can see one of our docents offering a visitor a chance to pet Indy the albino corn snake. Breakfast with the bears are arranged usually on a weekend. A group can rent the bear deck in the morning to watch the bears forage for their breakfast. Docents provide a biofact table and discuss fun facts and answer questions. Birthday parties are a popular rental of the zoo as well. They get 2 hours at a location inside the zoo and an animal visit with a zookeeper to allow the participants to pet the animals. The zoo offers various camps throughout the year. During the summer, 4 ABC zoo camps are held in the library, taught by the docents for children ages 4 to 7. They explore mammals, reptiles, birds, and insects through songs, stories, and crafts. Each day, a zookeeper provides a hands-on interaction with an outreach animal. Junior and senior zoo campers are held during spring and holiday breaks, as well as the summer, educating over 300 campers for ages 4 to 15. Throughout the year, the zoo is very grateful to the many corporate groups who volunteer for 3 hours during the morning to help maintain the property. Whether it be painting, gardening, refurbishing enclosures, many hands make quick work of these labor-intensive tasks. Story times are held twice a month, on the second Tuesday at Karen's Bakery in town, and on the fourth Thursday of the month on the Cana Deck at the zoo. For 45 minutes, docents read stories and use puppets to teach toddlers about the animals and the world around them. The biggest fundraiser of the year, with over 18,000 people attending, Holiday Lights, is 12 nights of pure magic. The entire zoo is lit with thousands of Christmas lights and decorated with Christmas trees and many holiday displays. Zookeepers hold informational talks at various animal enclosures throughout the night. The hot chocolate is flowing, and it is a magical night for all who attend. Really cute, too. Those are my grandkids. This school year alone, August through June, docents have conducted more than 125 tours for over 3,500 children and adults. They learn personal stories of the animals and a deeper appreciation for the role that the sanctuary plays in our community. Since its inception in 1963, the Folsom City Zoo Sanctuary has provided a safe place for a myriad of animals. Although we believe wild animals should live in the wild, sometimes they can't, whether it be because they are orphaned, injured, or rescued as an illegal pet. It's nice to know they have a place to live where they will be loved and well taken care of, while at the same time educating people to be responsible about wildlife and their habitats. For such a relatively small facility, the Folsom City Zoo Sanctuary plays an important role in our community as both education and enrichment. It is truly a gem and helps Folsom be distinctive by nature. And now Nancy would like to offer you an insight into the importance of the zoo through the words of some of the children who have come to visit.
Nancy Sherry used up a bunch of your time.
Here are letters from parents regarding zoo camp. My daughter really enjoyed this camp and learned a lot about animals. Thank you for providing such inspiring sessions for animal lovers like her. She talked a lot about what she learned every day, and I enjoyed reading your recap emails as well. She said she would love to come back next summer. My son is really loving this camp. He comes home every day with a myriad of facts, and it's lovely to see him so engaged. I appreciate this so much, and he will definitely come back next year. My children have come home from camp eager to share new knowledge about the animals, whom they talk about as if they were their friends. They were even happy to clean the manure from the animals' habitats. And every evening, bedtime is delayed as they share yet one more thing they learned or did at camp. Here are letters from the children. Dear staff, thank you for giving us a tour of the zoo. It was most appreciated. I love all the animals. Thank you for being a docent. I had a lot of fun looking at the animals, especially Pogo and his dancing. I will always remember how much fun I had. I will definitely come back and see more animals. Thank you again. I will remember Pogo, deer, cougar, bobcat, peacocks, pony, donkey, and every other animal there. Dear zoo members, thank you for helping us. Tell Olive I say hi. Thank you for the great experience at Folsom Zoo, and also thank you for sharing or showing us the bobcats. Dear Folsom Zoo, thank you. It was so fun. I loved all the animals. I even saw a peacock eat a jelly sandwich. Thank you. I'm going to have my mom take me there. It was so much fun. Thank you for teaching us about animals and being our tour guide. Thank you. I really liked Pogo, and he was really cool. P-O-G-G-O, P-O-G-G-O, and Pogo was his name. Oh. These are letters from teachers. We had a great day at the zoo today. Thank you for the amazing tours with your wonderful docents. Please send me a link to your friends and zoo websites to send out to our parents. Thank you. Dear Folsom Zoo docents and staff, thank you so much for sharing your sanctuary with us. We are so thankful for you. We hope you are having a good day. We love the animals that we saw at the zoo. Our favorite animals were the bobcats, the serval, the bears, the wolf dog, the golden eagles, and the parrots. We also liked the peacocks. We wish we could come again. You are the best zookeepers. Thank you again for the tour. God bless you. And they sent a picture.
Very good. Nancy, do the peacocks get fed jelly sandwiches as a matter of course?
Well, you know, sometimes they do.
They're pretty aggressive.
Yeah, they're pretty aggressive.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right, you have no further requests to speak under business from the floor.
Excellent. All right, do we have any agenda updates, Mr. City Attorney?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir. There is a revised staff report for item 4 and also an additional information transmittal for item 12 on tonight's agenda. Both have been previously provided to you. They are also available on the table in the back.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to item number 1, which is scheduled presentations. And this one is a proclamation of the mayor of the city of Folsom proclaiming the month of June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month in the city of Folsom. The city of Folsom is dedicated to fostering a diverse and inclusive community that celebrates the richness of its residents' identities. And the LGBTQ+ community is an important part of the community that makes up our great city, contributing to its vitality. And recognizing and embracing diversity fosters understanding, empathy, and unity among all residents. And June is widely celebrated as LGBTQ+ Pride Month, commemorating the Stonewall riots of June 1969, a pivotal moment in the fight for LGBTQ+ rights and equality. And acknowledging Pride Month is an opportunity to honor the progress made in securing equal rights for the community while recognizing that the work towards full equality is ongoing. And Folsom takes pride in being an inclusive city that values and promotes the well-being, dignity, and rights of all its residents. Now, therefore, I, Mike Kozlowski, Mayor of the City of Folsom, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2024 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month in the City of Folsom. I call upon all residents to join in celebrating the diversity of our community, fostering acceptance, understanding, and respect for all individuals. Thus proclaim this 11th day of June 2024. All right, thank you very much. Would you please call the next item?
Yeah, your next item is scheduled presentation item number 2. This will be the city manager's fiscal year 23-24 third quarter financial report.
Excellent.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council Members, Stacy Tamani, Chief Financial Officer. Tonight's presentation is your third quarter financial report. It includes the data for the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year and the projections for how we think the general fund will end the year based on the results of those first 3 quarters. That's July 1st through March 31st. Your first slide here is your general fund summary. It displays the fiscal year 23-24 original budget on the left. And then you've had $733,000 of approved budget amendments that this council has approved so far. You also have about $1.5 million of ARPA expenditures this year. The revenue is recognized as those expenditures occur, so you have revenues netting out with the expenditures. So that gets you a total amended budget of $110.8 million at this point. We're projecting revenues at the end of the year to be at $114.5 million and total expenditures at $113.9 million. So you're looking at a total change in your fund balance of about $643,000. That does fall short of the 1% contingency that was budgeted this year. That's just over $1 million. And that is anticipated to be able to roll into your unassigned fund balance in order to sustain that emergency reserve percentage as your expenditures grow. Because remember, we have to continue to be adding to that cash balance to keep that percentage flat. But we're hoping to be able to add at least that $643,000, and that'll put us in a fairly good position to move into next year's budget. You'll still be in your range of 17 to 20%. You'll have a higher level of expenditures next year and potentially use some of the unassigned fund balance if the council decides to do that. So this right now, at this point, would leave you at 20.9% of expenditures. Here's your unassigned fund balance as a chart. We're going back to fiscal year 13. The fund balance is in your blue columns, and the red line is the fund balance as a percentage of expenditures. And we've mentioned this many times that back in 2006, the fund balance was at 26% of expenditures. And that was used to get through the Great Recession. We had a low point of just under $4 million left in the reserve in fiscal year 11. So replenishing the reserve was the top priority per the city's financial policies, and that took place from fiscal year 12 to fiscal year 19. So you see that red line and the blue lines going up. And then it went down in fiscal year 20 during the pandemic to the $13.8 million mark, and that fell below the 15% threshold at that point. The city did use the risk management and compensated leaves internal service funds to help the general fund recover after the pandemic, and that money hasn't been repaid to those funds. It's about $3.9 million. So that still sits here in the general fund and has allowed the fund balance here to sit at about $23 million for the past 3 years. We haven't been able to add much to the unassigned fund balance since then. So you can see that the last 3 years have pretty much been flat. And now, almost solely because of the increase in expenditures, even though the cash has stayed flat, you see that red line starting to go down. And it's gone down from 23.69% back in fiscal year 22 to that projected 20.9 in just 2 years. So that decline is expected to continue if the cash amount just stays relatively the same, but the expenditures continue to grow. So this slide is your major revenue sources in the general fund. On the left, we have the current budget for fiscal year 24, and this is the amended budget. And then to the right, we have the year-end projections for fiscal year 24. So property tax, that first line is projected to be at budget, around $40 million. Sales tax, we had our most recent analysis from our sales tax consultants, and sales tax is projected to come in at $27.6 million. So it's about $1.7 million below the original budget for this year. What that means for sales tax is that we're back to fiscal year 22 levels. So basically no growth in that revenue source. And I have a chart showing that a little clearer on the next slide. TOT is projected to come in right at budget. Charges for services, your next line there, we're expecting to see an increase here, which I've been speaking about in every quarterly report. The projection anticipates that community development, building, and engineering revenues related to the Folsom Plan area will come in over budget, about $635,000, but that revenue is then offset by increased contract expenses related to that development activity, and you'll see those increased expenses when we get to the expense slide. The charges for services projection also includes Parks and Recreation program revenues up about $1 million from budget. This is also offset by increased expenditures in that department. And also in this category, you have ambulance revenue in the fire department. It's projected to be about $200,000 over budget for a total of $4.9 million in revenue this year. And then you also have Office of Emergency Service reimbursements that come in for fire and police. They are both expected to have about $200,000 this year, and this is delayed reimbursements from previous events that have happened. Sometimes it can take 2 years for us to get that back. So those reimbursements are not budgeted, and that added about $400,000 to the projection. We'll move down to the licenses, permits, and intergovernmental revenue. It's expected to end the year over budget by about $2.3 million. About 1.7 of that is increase related to building permit revenue. And again, that will be offset by increased expenses in community development. And then we have about $500,000 in intergovernmental revenue on this line for some small grants that have come in that will have offsetting expenditures as well. Transfers in. The next line there is projected to be at budget, and the last line, your all other revenue, is expected to be up by about $500,000. That's mostly due to interest income, but about half of that is interest earned on restricted SPIF funds, the specific plan infrastructure fee funds, and so that's not available for general fund purposes, but it is included here. So just another look at the sales tax trend, and what I was showing mainly on this chart is that fiscal year 23-24 is now going to be below what we saw in fiscal year 21 and in 22. And the note that I have on the right there, since fiscal year 16-17, sales tax has grown by about $3.4 million in total, but our cost of providing services has grown by about $29.5 million during that same period. And this chart here comes from our sales tax consultant, Avenue Insights and Analytics. They update this every quarter for us. It shows your annual per capita sales tax adjusted for inflation. So this is how much people are spending on taxable goods. And what you're seeing here is when we compare the current year, so the far right column back to prior to the pandemic, back in 1920. At the very bottom, you see that the sales tax per capita has decreased from $300 back in 2019 quarter four down to $269. So although the population is growing in Folsom, on average, people are spending less on taxable purchases than they were in past years. And that's why we see that flat, or part of the reason why we see that flattening growth in sales tax. Continuing on to the major expenditure categories in the general fund, we have the same columns as earlier. You have your current budget for fiscal year 24, and then you have your projections for fiscal year 24. We're projecting to end the year at $113.9 million total. That does include $1.5 million of ARPA expenditures that were allocated by the City Council. As we look at the year-end projections compared to the budget, we see on the top line there that salary and benefits are projected to be under budget by about $3 million. This is coming from vacant positions for part of the year in many general fund departments, and also pretty significant savings in overtime in the fire department because we are overstaffed right now until the new station opens. The police department's salary and benefit savings by the end of the year are expected at $900,000, and the fire department is projected to be under budget by about $1 million. As I mentioned, that's due to the overtime, and we don't expect that overtime savings in the fire department to continue into next year. Once the new station is open, we'll be back to probably the levels that we had before. So although we do have those savings in salary and benefit costs, they are offset, as you can see in the next line, by increased expenditures and operations and maintenance costs. And I'll go through those on the next slide here. So by department, the first one, all of your admin departments, we call it general government, are expected to be under budget by $208,000. The next one is police, and based on the first 3 quarters, police is expected to end the fiscal year just over budget by about $59,000. So the salary and benefit savings that I mentioned on the previous slide was used or is expected to be used based on current trends in other areas within the department by the end of the year. The fire department is expected to end the fiscal year about $270,000 over budget based on the activity of the first 3 quarters. Like the police department, the salary and benefit savings due to the overtime is being offset by higher levels of expenditures in other areas of the department. Community development is projected to end the year about $1.6 million over budget. This is due to those increased contract service costs that are paid by the increased revenues that we saw on the previous slide. And then Parks and Recreation is projected to end the fiscal year about $1 million over the current budget, and that's also offset by that additional revenue. So overall, the general fund is expected to end the year over the amended budget by about $3 million or 2.8%. We'll take a look at our internal service fund. This is the risk management fund, and it's used to account for the cost of the city's insurance programs. This year, we'll have another year of expenses exceeding revenues, which means we have less money coming into this fund than what it costs to pay for these insurance programs. In recent years, we did have a planned use of fund balance. That was in order to keep insurance costs in the general fund stable as we went through the pandemic, but the city has not replenished this fund, and in fact, it just continues to be depleted, and we'll see that in another chart on the next slide. But with this additional use of fund balance this year, the fund will end with a projected unrestricted net position of about $4 million. This use this year wasn't planned. We saw some very big increases in liability insurance, and those invoices come in after the budget process, so we do our best to estimate, but they did come in over that. And if the city hadn't had this reserve available, then the general fund would have been forced to pay the bill. And instead of having a financial report that shows a small surplus potentially going to the fund balance, it would have had really nothing added because the general fund would have had to cover this $600,000. Over the past 5 years, the projected $5.1 million of reserve will be used in the risk management fund. So we've gone from an unrestricted net position in 1920 of about $9 million down to $4 million. And as a percentage of expenditures, it went from 53% down to 19%. And we'll take a look at your enterprise funds. The first one is the Water Enterprise Fund. The Water Fund is projected to end the year with program revenues slightly above budget at about $20 million. And operating expenses are projected at $17.2 million. Capital expenses are projected at about $3.8 million by the end of the year, and that will leave this fund with working capital of $23.7 million. And that leaves them in good shape as they prepare for future capital projects next year. The wastewater enterprise fund is projected to have program revenues of $13 million, operating expenses just slightly below budget at $6.3 million, and the projection for capital expenditures is $11 million by the end of the year. Working capital projection is at $17.6 million. And then last year's your solid waste fund. Solid waste program revenues are projected to be at $27.6 million, operating expenses at $18.9 million. When we add in the capital expenses of $9.8 million, it would leave this fund with working capital of $14 million by the end of the year. And that's my last slide for you.
Thank you very much. Council, any questions? No? Madam Vice Mayor.
Stacy, could you go back to slide 2, please? Okay, so when you add 643 plus what's in the unassigned fund balance right now, you do not get $23.7 million.
Yeah, and I'll explain that. So it's the change to the total fund balance. And we've gone through that before. You have a total fund balance, you have an unassigned fund balance, assigned, restricted. So there'll be changes to the restricted fund balance and there'll be changes to the assigned fund balance. So this is our best estimate of how your unassigned fund balance will end up.
Okay, and I know we'll get to this a little bit later in the public hearing, but because we're expected to have an unassigned fund balance equal to 20.9% of expenditures, our policy now says that anything above 20% would have to go toward capital projects, right? Mm-hmm. Which we're going to do, but we're going to dip into it a little farther to pay for Kids Play Park is what's proposed. So we'll still be within that 17 to 20% range, but it's going to be maybe on the lower end of the range.
Correct, if that's approved. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Good. Okay.
Stacy, I think the fire department underspending $1 million, if you don't mind to move there. I just want to give one more request. My colleagues here. My colleagues here. I know we talked this one so many times. Our fire staff is understaffed. Of course, we're going to talk about the police very soon because they are working overtime. On an average, they have almost like $2 million to $2.5 million overtime every year. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
That's right. And we added 10 extra firefighters, give or take that number. Hence, the spending is not that much. We are calling that indirectly as a under budget. So I sincerely want to take a look at one more time. We don't want to burn our firefighters. They are overworking. We are anyway spending that money through overtime. Rather, hire them. It has been consistent. I looked at the last 15 years budget. It's consistently we are overspending, which means our firefighters are overworking. We rather want to give them spending overtime to the salaries. That way they can spend the good time with their families, birthday parties, not on emergencies, firefighters. I just want to put that out there in front of our council members here. I fought for those last time also. Mayor Kozlowski was also there to support me. Either way we are spending. It's not that we are asking for more money. Rather spending OT, spend for salaries. Let them enjoy the good work-life balance. That's one. One more thing on number 3, Stacy. Is this 3? I'm sorry, 4. I think I didn't see it. Is this really a 100% wash of, maybe this is for you, Pam. We are getting $2.5 million excess revenue, give or take, from the south of 50 permits and all those. Are we spending all that money on the contractors and this has been consistent?
Let me clarify that first. So the full 2.5 is not all community development. Right. About $1 million of that is also parks and recreation fees and a couple other items. So the community development was coming over $635,000 in the charges for services line item and about $1.7 million in the licenses and permits.
It's about $2.3 million, something like that.
Between the two categories?
That's for community service development.
True.
Right? And if you can flip the next slide, I think that's where the actual expenditure. Yeah. So this is probably the wash, that's what you are mentioning.
Yeah, partially offset, so they're not spending all of it. The issue that we do look at is that the timing of it, when the revenues come in, there's oftentimes we'll get a big rush of permit revenue in June because they know that the fees are going up the next month. And so the auditors do have us look at that, and so some revenue is deferred into the next year to then be spent to make sure that you have the money available to cover the costs when they occur.
Right. Thank you again. I want to make the same point what I did for firefighters, because Folsom South, we still have to build, as per the plan, another 8,000 homes, give or take. That's the plan. We built almost like 4,000, 4,500 so far. And it is going to be a consistent demand either south of 50 or here. Again, I want to put that request, bring in-house. At least I'm not asking to bring that many people, a reasonable people. Rather spending again on the contract services OT, spend on our staff, invest in our staff. Because the line of people we have here, when we were all looking at, Steve Banks was leaving, yeah, we were feeling bad because he's taking all the knowledge out. Contractors, they can never be a part of our team, keeping the knowledge inside. Keep that for a long term. I'm not asking, again, you may have a follow-on question, why can't we hire here? The revenue is not coming. I get it, But Folsom has been very consistent on, going through the development. So think about it again for the next time budget or the budget amendments. Just want to put that out there. Hiring some quality people, keeping them inside. I'm not asking to hire 10 people, at least 1 or 2 quality engineers so that we can keep that here with us. Those are the 2 comments I just want to make it. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Were there any requests to speak? Nope. All right, thank you very much. Let's call the next item.
The next item this evening is your consent calendar.
Okay, is there anything anybody would like to remove from the calendar to discuss? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and move items 3 through 11 on the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Rohrbaugh? Yes. Aquino?
Yes.
Chalem-Chella? Yes. And Kozlowski?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Genuine consent calendar. All right, item number 12. Welcome back, Stacy.
Yeah, your last discussion item this evening is your public hearing, item number 12. This is resolution number 11210, a resolution adopting the fiscal year 24-25 operating and capital budgets for the city of Folsom, the successor agency, the Folsom Public Financing Authority, and the Folsom Ranch Public Financing Authority.
Good evening, everyone. As you'll remember, at the City Council's May 28th regular meeting, I presented the city manager's fiscal year 24-25 proposed operating and capital budgets alongside Chief Financial Officer Stacy Tamani. Tonight is a public hearing on the proposed budget and an opportunity for the council to adopt the budget. I asked the City Council to provide me with their questions ahead of time so that we could be prepared to respond with accurate, detailed information. So I'd like to begin by going through the questions received from council members and our responses, hoping that that will be helpful to the council in your deliberations. To date, the questions I received from council members pertain to the fire department, the police department, and the parks and recreation department, and then 3 that were more general in nature. So I grouped them together, and we'll start with the 3 that are more general and then move from there to fire, PD, and parks and rec. At the end, I'll also have a clarification point from the discussion at the last meeting. So we'll just put up each question pretty much verbatim as it was received from the council member. Here is question number 1, which I'm going to ask Stacy to handle this one as well as the next one. And this question is, I would like to have the salary savings for the past 5 years for each department before it was used elsewhere in these departments. This is before they use the monies for other things in their budget. Please provide that number for all major departments. Stacy?
Thank you. And this came from a comment of just an interest in possibly using salary savings from other departments to add to the police department budget. So this chart here has the city's 4 major departments in the general fund. You have fire, parks and recreation, the police department, and public works. So you see that the fire department on average has been over budget each year, except for the current year that we're in now. And this is due to those overtime costs. The other costs have a 5-year average of being under budget. You see that on the bottom line in the gray. Parks and Recreation at about $394,000, police at $715,000, public works at about $463,000. We do already budget for a vacancy factor in each budget. This year it's at about 1.25% of non-safety salary and benefit costs. So that's about $412,000. That offsets the non-safety savings that we typically have kind of right off the bat, not fully, because we want to leave flexibility if we happen to have a year that's less than average. Any questions on that one?
Just for clarification, with the fire department, we oftentimes get reimbursed when there are services that are outside of the city. Is that accounted for in these reports?
Not on this chart here. This was just strictly if they were over budget. And yes, that's true. And then, but it often comes in a following fiscal year too, so that does make it a little difficult.
All right.
All right, and then Stacy's going to take the next question as well, which came in from a council member. It's kind of a group of questions. It looks like property tax may be becoming a greater share of our general fund revenue than in the past. It looks like for 24-25, it will account for 38.72% of general fund revenue versus 34.76% in fiscal year 23-24. It might be interesting to present a 10-year history showing what percentage of our revenue is property tax versus sales tax versus other. What does it mean if property tax as a percentage share is growing? More stability? Is there a downside?
Okay, so here we have the chart. This is the last 10 years of data. You have property tax on your top line there, a sales tax, and then all other revenue. And so I put the percentage of the general fund there for each of the years. And so the first comment to make on this is that you're always going to have 100% in total. So as sales tax stays flat, but property tax continues on its known trend, then property tax as a percentage does become a bigger piece of the pie. As far as the question on stability, we do see in recessions that property tax takes longer to be affected, and it usually doesn't drop as much as sales tax does, but it also recovers fairly slowly because we're limited to that 2% increase. After that, as properties turn over, it goes up a little bit. So if we were to see a short recession that doesn't significantly impact property values, then we'd probably do better than a jurisdiction that has a higher level of sales tax than property tax. As far as a downside of this trend happening, in instances where we may have significant economic growth in a built-out city, so when we're not having the development growth, but just if we were built out, but there was, the economy was growing, sales tax would typically grow faster than the property tax would because it is limited. So those are my comments on that.
Any questions on that?
Would it be true to say that if you're more reliant on property tax, you run the risk of getting upside down relative to inflation pressure? And I say that because if property tax as it is limited by the way Prop 13 allows it to grow at no more than 2% annually, and inflation is affecting everything that we purchase, and the CPI or straight inflation is causing 3 or 4 or 5 or 7% increases in cost, that disparity starts to compound over time, right?
Definitely on the property tax side, and that's where the sales tax could offset that.
I can't imagine that we would be experiencing that. Yeah. Okay.
Stacy, forgive me. Can you go back one more? I just had a question about this one that came a little late. Did COVID have an impact on coming under budget between the 2021, 21, 22, and 22, 23?
I tried to look at that if there was a trend. I don't really see one. What I do see in 2021 for the fire department is that that was kind of a high point.
Well, there was a major, 2021 was a high fire season. Like it was, everybody go out outdoor dining, but there was smoke. So that's what I remember of that year. So, okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions on that?
Oh, I have quickly one question on Yeah, this one. Thank you, Stacy, for giving this sales tax numbers. I know I pointed this one, sometimes declining numbers here. I started doing some research in our region. Thank you for correcting me, both of you, that it's not the county distributing the funds of the sales tax back to cities and unincorporated. It is California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. When we purchase something online, they are the ones receiving. State Department, with some mechanism, they are distributing to everybody. I looked at Rancho Cordova City. Their sales tax is still up. I looked at the county. They are receiving. They are up. Us and El Grove were either kind of flat or wiggling down. I went back to my analogy of the type of people living in these cities. A little bit technology driven. El Grove has Amazon. El Grove has Apple cell phone, some technology people and a huge population from Bay Area to that end so that they can get back to Bay Area anytime. And Folsom is similar. So we spend a lot of money online. So I'm continuing that conversation I mentioned to Stacy already. I'm going to be reaching out with some help from the regional cities to the state tax and free administration. They have to relook into the way they are distributing online funds back to the cities and unincorporated. We are the victims, but some people are benefiting from that. I just want to put that out there because these numbers are, through my research, is validating the people's behavior, like the type of people, online technology savvies. So we have a room for getting some of the money back to City of Folsom. That's all I can say. I'm going to continue doing that with my past experience of state work life. Thank you.
Okay, I will take the next question, which was, could you explore two-year budgets with your colleagues? So at the May 28th meeting, we talked briefly about biennial or two-year budgets, and I was asked to check in with my city manager colleagues in the county regarding the concept. I happen to have a meeting already scheduled between the last council meeting and this one with my peers, so I took that opportunity to bring up this subject with them. And basically, I received very strong feedback that it can be, two-year budgets can be a great way to budget as long as the city council is committed to it truly being a two-year budget as opposed to a budget that is amended and amended and amended at every turn over that two-year period. I thought that the Municipal Research and Services Center did a good job of summarizing the advantages and disadvantages that I heard from my colleagues, and so I've listed those here. Potential advantages include reducing the total amount of time budgeting over a two-year period and freeing up time for other projects in year two. Encouraging the jurisdiction to think strategically over multiple years instead of just balancing the budget each single year. And if you timed it correctly, it could help to depoliticize the budget somewhat if you timed it to straddle election years. Not like anybody would politicize the budget, but just wanted to mention that. Potential disadvantages could include more time and effort is required to develop the budget in year one, more difficulty and understanding and uncertainty forecasting revenues and expenditures because you're going even further out now. And as I mentioned earlier, some jurisdictions spending too much time on budget amendments and adjustments, which kind of eliminates any time savings and some of the reasons you did it in the first place. There was a comment made at the May 28th council meeting that shifting to a two-year budget might require a charter amendment. Actually, it would not for Folsom. Our charter does allow for a two-year operational budget to be substituted for the required annual budget if desired. And so, yeah, so that's it. I mentioned that we had three general questions, so that's the last of the three. Are there any questions on that one or the ones that came before? Okay. So the next one is one of you asked a question about the fire department, and it was what was the $1.4 million we have budgeted for fire apparatus for? And the answer is it's for a Type 1 engine to replace engine 37, which is aging. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, and then the next series of questions are all for Chief Hillman, who's on his way up here, and he's just going to use one slide as his foundational chart to speak to these responses because they all interrelate in some way to police staffing. So I will turn it over to Chief at this point.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Rick Hillman, your police chief. Taking the first question, does Beat 5 really needs to be covered in every shift? Because money from that area is what's taking care of some of the officers. Our officers picking up the overtime shifts. In 2023, there were 149 days covered in the Beat 5 area. So officers were assigned to that area basically half of the time. They are picking up the overtime. We also have a shortage right now, as I've explained several times, that we do have officers that are out on leave, all medical leave, and their time of coming back is dependent on when the doctor releases them. And as officers come back, we will fill the beat assignments as best we can. I have a slide on that I'll go back to in a minute. Should we consider contracting out to another agency to staff Beat 5? No. It's our responsibility. It is you as the council that has the responsibility to determine how many police officers we have in our city. You've determined at this particular point, 81 is what's required to properly protect our city. And we are fulfilling that responsibility. We may not have proactive patrols south of Highway 50, but we do respond to calls for service there. How does staffing Beat 5 and adding a homeless outreach team the city manager has proposed for fiscal year 24-25 budget interrelated, if at all? As I said last week, I think YKU had asked me, or 2 weeks ago, if you were tying our hands by saying that we must put all 6 of what's proposed into a homeless outreach team. I think that's by policy of the council as what you determine that you want to do, whether it is to have a homeless outreach team, which was proposed by the police department at 6 people. We had requested 7 police officers, a police corporal, and a police sergeant in our budget proposals. That was to staff a hot team and to staff additional officers for south of Highway 50. From those 9, we would get 6 with this proposal, and we will staff a homeless outreach team. If you say that use the officers as you deem fit, then we will do so by first staffing a homeless outreach team. And if we get some good results from that at, say, 3 or 4 or 5 officers, then the others we would then go back to the council to ask that they be moved. Unless, as a council, you just say, here are your people and do with them what you want, as we currently have. You don't tell me how many officers I have on a POP team, a traffic unit, an investigations unit.
And Chief, I just wanted to interject here. This is covered in some remarks I have later on, but since you're talking about it now, I do want to make clear that the council adopts positions, not assignments. So it's the 6 positions that would be added would be, understanding the direction from the council, working in close collaboration with Chief to deploy those officers accordingly. So not getting into those weeds of course, of telling Chief where to put officers. He would place according to priorities, and we'll go into that a little later. But I just want to say that you're adopting positions, not assignments.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I was getting a little angst when I think there was some information that came to us about, the council will make changes or reassign. What I do not want to micromanage the decisions that, Chief, you need to make to operate the police department or any department. I think every department head knows how to operate and manage their departments, and I hope that this council never becomes so micromanaging that we need to
dictate how things are working in the city. So I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, so what Chief and I have talked about, and just as he kind of alluded to a few minutes ago, is that it might be that, it takes, if you approve 6 positions, then he first gets, could be the flip-flop of what you talked about. First get beat 5 established, and then as folks come back from workers' comp injuries, and there are quite a few of those, then you build up a hot team. As homeless issues accelerate or decelerate, maybe the hot team is 6, and then maybe it's 2 if they just jump all over that, and maybe it lingers somewhere in the middle. But anyway, I'll turn it back over to you, Chief. Thank you.
Any other questions about that particular question?
Are we talking again on that? So is anything we have to change in the current budget proposed? I
There's
know the
nothing.
presentation was homeless outreach team.
Nothing you need to change because you're adopting positions. So the budget document merely says 6 positions. So if you're
That's why.
supportive of 6 positions, you're good.
That's why I was asking Chief last time on that question, right? We rather want to give you freedom. That's what our colleagues are also mentioning.
Sure thing. We've heard loud and clear
Yes.
from the community, from the council, the priorities.
Yeah.
That's a priority for us. So we will make sure that the priorities are met. And how we do that is however we deem fit with my staff and I going through that.
Just to take advantage of that, we're on the wording of that. When we get to the point where we want to talk about this issue and if we agree with it or not, then I would prefer to make a choice in the budget wording to staff a homeless team and or take out the homeless team altogether and just say for the expectations that we're going to fight crime, whatever. So I know that, just having that in here can be a little bit untransparent to people on where those are going. So I think we just play with the wording a little bit, and then it sets the expectations very clear for anyone that picks up the budget in 6 months or whatever. That would be my suggestion.
Next, there are officers out and positions vacant right now, which affects overall coverage. Can you explain that situation? Sure. We have on the 20th of this month, 4 recruits will be graduating from the academy and come to the department as trainees. They'll train for a minimum of 4 months. That's required by post standards. We have another person in backgrounds who is a lateral police officer. That will leave us with 1 vacancy if we were to fill that. And we have had a couple people apply in the last week. So that's where we stand on vacancies. We have 1. We have 8 officers currently out on medical leave. All of them are workers' comp. Some are long-term, over a year even, as we await the process of what we're going to do with these officers and getting them taken care of. There's others that I'm hopeful will be back by the end of the month. Even in preparing this next slide, one of the officers came back last week, and I got to change things a little bit. So here is a slide of the patrol officers that we have on duty each day. As I've said, our minimum staffing is 4 officers. The Monday through Thursday day shift had 4, and then the officer came back on Friday, so we're now at 5. Each of those officers represent a beat that's covered, so we have 5 beats. 5 people are covering that. We also, during our day shift, have certain other officers that we can call on in the event of an emergency. We have school resource officers, 2 of them that are in uniform, driving a marked police car. They have special assignments that they have to be at, but if there was an emergency, we can always call on them. So that's where you see the +4 on Mondays to +10 and down to +6 on Fridays, that we have school resource officers, our POP officers, and our traffic teams that are available. So this is what it looks like currently, where we have 5 officers assigned to the evening shifts, Monday through Thursday, 4 on the weekend shifts. That's an overlap shift, and then every night of the week we have, in our graveyard hours, 5 officers assigned. Is there any questions about that?
So that doesn't include like a sergeant and a lieutenant who are also on duty, right?
Correct. Our sergeants add one position to each of those. Our sergeants and our corporals are responsible for the overall coverage. However, a corporal, they can go both ways. So if we're down to 3 officers, a corporal and a sergeant, then that corporal is one of the 4 officers as a beat officer.
Okay.
Chief, at high level I don't know, you mentioned the timings of day 6 to 3, so that way, if you can repeat one more time, sir, for the public.
Sure. It's 24-hour coverage. It changes on the weekends versus the weekdays. Our weekend teams work 12.5-hour shifts, and our weekday teams work 10-hour shifts. So they come in at 6:30 to 4:30 on day shift during the weekdays. Another team comes in from 3 to 1, and then another team 9 to 7 for the weekdays. Lieutenants are out there, but they don't respond to calls for service. They can attach themselves to calls for service. They have administrative functions, so we don't call on them. They drive unmarked cars, and they don't respond to normal routine calls, but they will respond to emergency events. Much like the fire department has an engine that responds, their battalion chief doesn't necessarily respond to every call. We do the same thing with our lieutenants.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chief?
I have a quick one. So does that mean your minimum staffing is going up, or what is your minimum staffing?
Our minimum staffing remains at 4, and the reason that we do that is we don't want to burn everybody out with overtime. We have lots of overtime shifts, as I've talked about before. We have a jail officer, so occasionally we have an officer that drives people down to the jail because jail wait times are 6 to 8 hours, and rather than have one of those 4 people sitting down at the jail and ending up with only 3, we pay people to go down to the jail and sit there on overtime. So we have a lot of people working a lot of overtime. Our minimum staffing is 4, so that if there's 5 people on duty this particular day and somebody calls in sick or somebody goes to training, we're required by post to have each officer have a certain number of hours of training every year. We're audited for that. So we send people to training. That brings us back down to that 4. We haven't been able to get to a 5 minimum.
Because of staffing.
Right.
So would staffing, giving you 6 more bodies, would that allow you to have a minimum staffing level of 5? And then is that a policy through the council, or is that just your policy with the city manager?
It's a policy for the police department to come up and establish our minimum staffing levels as what we see fit. And the 6, we will look at where we need to put people. We need to put together a homeless outreach team. That is a priority. And then getting those numbers to 5 all the way across before we look at raising to a minimum of 6 officers on a shift, with 5 being the minimum amount that we have at any one time.
Okay, so 6 is going to get us closer, just not all the way there.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. The next few questions pertain to the Parks and Recreation Department, so I'm going to ask Parks and Recreation Director Kelly Gonzalez to come up to the podium. And the first question we received was, what's planned for the renovation of Kids Play Park, which is also known as Castle Park?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council members. I'm Kelly Gonzalez, Parks and Recreation Director.
Just use the arrow keys, it's a little easier. Yeah.
All right, so what's included in the $1 million replacement cost for the playground structures? It includes replacement of 2 structures, the 2 to 5-year-old and the 5 to 12-year-old playgrounds, a total of approximately 11,000 square feet. This estimate came from working with the original playground designer and input from our Parks and Trails Planning Manager. The costs include design, engineering consultants to assist with the design and replacement of the structures, engagement with the community, site work, pre-construction, labor costs, construction costs, materials including engineered wood fiber surfacing, recycled composite lumber, which offers the same aesthetics as wood with reduced maintenance and extended lifespan, as well as final inspections. Here is a photo of the Rainbow City Park at Davis, in Davis, California. And in these photos, you can see the type of materials that were used, which the surface includes the wood fiber that we discussed earlier, and also the recycled composite lumber. and it looks just very much like wood. The composite lumber reduces the maintenance and extends the lifespan. The structures will have an extended lifespan of 30 years versus the treated wood, which had a lifespan of 15 years. Again, less maintenance. And as you see in these images, for the replacement of this structure, you can see in the entry photo on the right where it says Rainbow City, they use some of the pieces from the original structure in the entryway. Through community engagement, there'll be pieces that they'll repurpose throughout the structure so they don't lose that original identity and pay tribute to the people that did the building of the original structure.
And for us, that would be the tiles, that are out there right now that, represent the blood, sweat, and tears of all those neighbors that helped build that park originally.
Right. They have lots of ideas, and they've done that numerous playgrounds that they've replaced. Also to note, the city of Davis was shut down in 2014 due to safety concerns and reopened in 2016 when they replaced these structures.
This park or the whole city?
The park. Okay, these are
I missed that news report.
All right, so these are the cost estimates broken down here in this slide. You can see here $81,450 is estimated for pre-construction, $490,000 for construction, $395,000 for materials for the 11,000 square foot play structure, and then inspections estimated at $4,500, and then per our municipal code, a contingency of 10%, which is estimated at $97,000 for a total of $1.1 million.
Okay, any questions on Kids Play Park before Kelly moves to her next question?
I'd just like to make a comment. Assuming that it gets the budget passes and that gets funded, to the extent possible, I'd like to see that park fast-tracked. I understand, you have community outreach on there, but I don't think we need to spend a lot of time learning what we already know. And that is people want the play structure to look as closely as it does right now, right? But obviously up to code and stuff. They want to retain the character. They want to retain the tile and all that kind of stuff. So, to the extent that we can just use our standing Parks and Rec Commission meeting to do that community outreach, I don't think we need to have multiple community meetings and postcards and all this kind of stuff. Let's just get it done.
Yeah, and speaking with the designer and outreach process, they have various ways that we can get different ways to get community input. But that is an important process or important aspect. But yes, it's been very clear to me to fast track it as soon as possible by your city manager.
Thank you.
I got the biggest eyes I've ever seen out of Kelly when I told her, I'm going to propose your entire $1 million instead of dividing it up over 2 years. And she said, Elaine, but parks take at least 2 years to build. And I said, I want the money now. Yeah.
Not this one.
And she understands the fast tracking. Thank you, Kelly. And the next question is, what's planned? Oh, sorry, Councilmember Chalanchero.
We still have for this one, right? You will be here?
Next, to talk about the CIP projects, I'm going to ask our planning manager, Brad Nelson, to come on up.
Oh, then I can ask this question. That way you don't have to come again.
Okay.
I hear you, Vice Mayor, fast tracking. I think my approach is going to be slightly different. Yes, we want to get it done. I'm not denying on that fact. There was a citizens community who stepped forward in the original construction. At least bringing them to the table, number one. And number two, we already have the dollar figures here, how much we are thinking. In this age of the world, putting out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm going to use these technical terms, RFI, request for information. City of Folsom would like to renovate or redesign this one. Here are the vendor groups in association with that nonprofit community group, whosoever was there. I think it is a worthwhile exploring that route. I guarantee you, the experts in this business may step forward and give us 20% cheaper solution. Structure may be same. We may be using the same tiles. It's worth investing those 3-4 weeks in collaboration with that community nonprofit organization.
I don't think the Vice Mayor was suggesting no community outreach, just not
I'm adding that technical
over-the-top
term,
process.
RFI, request for information from the the expert community, who are the vendors, who does this work, not to marry to a vendor. That's all I'm adding to that one. So I highly encourage that one. Create some competition. See what happens. You may get a great ideas, and our good friend may be, he may think more. Thank you again. I just want to put that out there.
Okay, and then Kelly, what's planned for the improvements at Davies Park?
Okay, I'm going to call Brad up to answer. We have a number of CIP questions, so Brad's going to answer those for us.
Thank you, Kelly. Welcome, Brad.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm Brad Nelson, Park Planning Manager. So the questions, the first question I'm answering is what's planned for the improvements at Davies Park? So I wanted to start out and just say that the projects that are discussing here have actually been previously approved, and they've rolled over year after year, and that's basically due to limited staffing. So the first project, or this is Buddenarty Davies Park. The build-out, it's the build-out of
Brad,
Davies.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
The people that live really close to that park probably know where it is, but other people watching might not.
Okay.
Where's it located?
Davies Park is in American River Canyon North, and it's located at 290 American River Canyon Drive. So it butts up to, one side of it is on American River Canyon Drive, and the other side of it, where this build-out is occurring, is on Santa Juanita Avenue.
Excellent, thank you.
So the project that we're building out is about 3 acres, located directly adjacent to the Santa Juanita Avenue, and it includes a parking lot, a ball field, and then some frontage improvements along Santa Juanita, along with some site furnishings and whatnot.
Thank you.
So funding has previously been identified, and that was paid through park impact fees and Quimby and lieu fees. There's no general fund that's being allocated to this project. And you can see in the chart here at the bottom, so previously approved was $1.1 million. There's no proposed budget change as of this year, so that the total project budget is $1.1 million. To date, we've spent about $20,000, so the remaining budget is $1.083. So this is where we're at with the project. We have a conceptual plan, which you see here. The next steps will include a community workshop as outlined in our general plan. And we'll get some feedback from the community, since it will particularly impact the Cascades residents here. We've been in contact with the HOA at American River Canyon North as well. So they're fully aware that this is coming. So once we do that community feedback, then we'd come back to you and get your final blessing on this final master plan. So this is a conceptual plan. This hasn't been vetted by the neighbors. It obviously hasn't been vetted by the Park and Rec Commission, but just to give you an idea of where the direction that we're headed. So these are the existing park improvements here. This is American River Canyon Drive here. There's a ball field here. We have basketball court. There's 2 tennis courts over here. This is the 3 acres that we're talking about. It includes some pathways. This is a 41 stall or so parking lot off of Santa Juanita, and there's a ball field here. We're also looking at, we've had some previous interest to add a sand volleyball court out there. So we're showing 2 different locations for that, and that is something that we definitely want to vet with the neighbors before we include that. So that is...
The parking lot is new?
The parking lot is new, yes. There's nothing, this is all, there isn't even a walkway from here, so there's from here to here. So this project completes this walkway from here to here.
Any questions on Davies?
Well, Brad, can I just ask you to explain in general the restrictions with capital improvement plan funds? Because one of the questions that we will get from the public, and which we already have, is why are you building new parks or finishing parks and providing new amenities when we have difficulty maintaining the things we have? So this money is restricted?
Correct. So the money that is set aside for the park impact fees can only be used for park development.
Okay, so even if the council wanted to and said, hey, we don't want to spend $1 million on this. We want to take that money and use it to replace sections of the trail that are buckling or, lifted or potholes, or we don't have the flexibility to do that.
That would be the trail impact fees that are collected separately.
Okay. Thank you.
And I don't know all those trail
Okay.
fund numbers off the top of my head.
Okay, any other questions on Davies? Okay, so Councilmember Taloncello, did you have a question?
How did you read my mind? Quickly though, I hear you, but we still have about, including this or excluding this, 8 parkland sites are open, which hasn't been unfulfilled park sites.
That's correct.
Am I-
There are, north of Highway 50, so this is a partially finished park, but there are, after Benevento is built, there will be 9 park sites that are completely undeveloped north of Highway 50.
Right. And the money we are spending, Santa Juanita is, I know, I love, it's, Mike's district. I love all the American River Canyon friends there. I visited so many times. This money has to go only here, or is there a rethought of take a looking at the remaining 9 undeveloped sites, which has a more access, it has a more broader reach to the public, city of Folsom. The Santa Juanita is the county line. So I just want to put that, thought. Sure. I want it if we want to do it. It's $1 million is a lot of money.
It is not in park construction anymore, though. So this build out of this park actually. So we'll have the 9 completely undeveloped parks. There's also 9 unfinished parks in the park master plan north of Highway 50. Yeah. This Davies is one of those unfinished parks. So this would actually check off and remove one of those parks from our master plan, which the Park and Rec Commission is fully supportive of. So this also completes this park north of the river, and it also provides a ball field north of the river, which we currently do not have.
Right. Unfinished, undeveloped. I'm glad you are,
Yes.
clarifying that one. It's a total 18 parks. If in that phase,
Right.
you said 9 and 9. If there is an undeveloped park, even in the American River Canyon, which has a more access, that's what I'm asking the question. Whether how we look into that before heading into this one. That's my question. Even though it is undeveloped, it is developed quite a bit, right?
Yes.
And if there is something in the middle of the American River Canyon which has nothing, it's a grass and it hazardous for fire, are we going to look into that one for that $1 million? That's all I'm saying.
So, as I mentioned, this construction and the $1 million has been approved by the Park and Rec Commission, who forwarded a recommendation to the City Council back in 2018, 2019, I believe.
Agreed. We respect the people whom we are putting up there as a commissioners. Take a look at one more time. At the end of the day, are we serving the broader community in that neighborhoods?
Okay.
This came before the council as well, Brad?
Did,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not the master plan, which we will bring back to you.
Yeah, and the Parks and Rec Commission did a fairly exhaustive re-review of the master plan just 2 years ago in order to reprioritize or attempt to reprioritize based on comments that we've all made about Benevento Park, because it was going to be a very expensive expedition when we were having trouble taking care of other things. So the Parks and Rec Commission has done that relatively recently.
Okay, I know. I respect the commission's
just saying.
state. My point is here again. I'm just lining up. That's a county line. After that, neighborhood parks. Those ones are in the neighborhood. Kids can run, right? That's the common sense I'm putting in front of you. And Kelly, if if you are listening, I may come and speak to the park as a citizen, but think it one more time. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Thank you again.
Okay, and the next question, again, these are just verbatim as we received them. So what was received was capital project funds, park improvement, $8,055,258. Can you break that down as to what parks this is designated for, if at all?
So the $8,055,000 represents the estimated fund balance as of June 30th, 2025 for Fund 412, which is the Citywide Park Improvement Fund. Fund 412, the Citywide Park Improvement Fund, are impact fees collected that will be used to fund the capital improvement plan. Funding in park projects that are identified here have already been approved by the Parks and Rec Commission and the City Council, and as I mentioned earlier, have rolled over due to lack of staff resources to implement these projects. The projects are outlined in detail, both funding and what's included in the budget document, the Capital Improvement Plan Section 6, which starts on page 620. So the projects that were discussed were Benevento Family Park, which I'll discuss in detail in a minute, Davies Park, which I just discussed, Hazel McFarland Community Garden, which I'll go into more detail in just a minute, and the Sutter Middle School Gym. For the Sutter Middle School Gym, what this project is, the city contributed $763,000 over 8 annual payments toward a gymnasium at Sutter Middle School. So this was part of the joint use agreement that we have with the Folsom Cordova Unified School District. Construction on that was completed in 2019, and this really expands our potential the recreation programming and is a substantial cost savings as opposed to building, if the city were to build a complete new gym facility. So the final payment on that contribution will be made in fiscal year 25-26, and then we'll no longer be making those payments. Benevento Family Park. So this is the park that's located on the corner of Broadstone Parkway and Carpenter Hill Road. It's adjacent to Vista del Lago High School. It's the development of 9 acres of parkland. We've been working on this park for quite a few years. It's really going to be an exciting park. Where we're currently at now is the design development is complete and the CEQA process is underway. So the next steps will be to, once the CEQA process is completed, staff will be bringing the CEQA process and the final master plan to the City Council for approval. Then we'll go out to bid ideally in early 2025. So the original, or what was previously approved in the budget is the $6.3 million. We are requesting an additional $1.65 million that's coming from park improvement fees, and that's based on updated cost estimating that we have from the current design development package that we have. So a lot of it has to do, if you're all familiar with this site, there's a series of terraces, and the highest terrace is up at Carpenter Hill Road, then there's sort of a middle terrace, and then there's the big flat open space terrace which backs up to the ball fields at Vista del Lago. So there's about 50 feet or give or take of elevation change between those terraces. We have park facilities on each one of those terraces, including a parking lot at the top terrace, small parking lot, and then a larger parking lot down on Broadstone Parkway. We have to access each of those terraces. So that means a series of stairs and a series of ramps, which is fairly complicated and a bit of a grading challenge. So we have excuse me, we have that, I think, addressed pretty well in our design development package, but we're concerned about the cost of some of those elements. The biggest item that we also have on the park is, and I can show you a plan, is the sand volleyball complex here. This will be an 8-court sand volleyball complex here. This is the parking lot I was discussing on Broadstone Parkway, smaller parking lot here off of Carpenter Hill Road. This is going to be our first sand volleyball complex.
The premier
sand volleyball complex. We want to make sure it's done right. So we've been meeting with our volleyball partners, and they've been reviewing how we're designing this, just to make sure it works for them in terms of tournaments, in terms of recreation play, and all those things. It's pretty exciting, I think. So this doesn't really identify some of our grading challenges. So we have grading challenges here, grading challenges here, and also here. So that's the need for the additional request in funding, which is in the funding that's available in the park impact fees. We also anticipated, or we didn't anticipate the amount of EPA permitting that would be required with this pond facility. So we did anticipate a 404 permit, but there's some other permitting that's going to be required. So all of those additional costs are being added onto this park. So that's the additional 1.65 for a total project budget of 7.97.
So I have a question about this one.
Okay.
Are you finished with the, are you?
Yes, I
Okay. Before you move on. So I have a little bit of concern about the escalating cost. I mean, it makes sense when you talk about it, but has this gone back since 2002 to the Parks and Recs Commission? Because maybe there's, I forget how many parks you said that we have 9, and there's still a lot of parks to build, right? And this one park actually depletes a lot of the impact fee.
It does.
So meaning that we can't, start a new one. So my concern is the escalating cost on this one. So I would request that before we approve the 1.6, that it goes back to Parks and Rec. They look at the scale of it, because no matter what, costs are going to escalate. So I want to kind of keep this under control before we get, when we start building, and then it's a $9 million park all of a sudden, but we still need more parks built. So I just want to be conscious of this doesn't have to be the premier, maybe it's the premier sand fields. Don't want to take that away, Mike. But maybe there's some other things that Parks and Rec and you can figure out to scale back. So we don't have to approve $1.6 million for this park. So that's what I would like to see. This fund is always going to be here, so we can make a mid-year budget review if, you only need 300,000 more. Or, but also my understanding is this hasn't gone out for an RFP yet, correct?
The design contract has.
But construction.
Construction has not, no.
Right. So before it goes out to that and we get too far into it, maybe it's just relooking and scaling it back. So I would like to see this go back to Parks and Rec Commission, have them take a look at it, look at the needs of the community as a whole and what's left that we have promised that we're going to serve to them before we approve 1.6 in this budget.
Okay. The Park and Rec Commission did look at this for a number of years, and it was brought to the city council as well.
In 2022, right? That's what it says in here for final approval.
Right, but before that, we also discussed whether or not we wanted to, and I believe it was Councilmember Kimbo said, why are we building parks if we can't afford to maintain them, which is a very valid question. So we did some research, and we determined that the income that we would receive from the sand volleyball complex, it would be close to, through rentals and tournaments and things like that, would be close to $30,000 a year. We're using that costing, which is similar to what the costing for Economy Family Park is in terms of yearly maintenance. That cost would basically cover, or the income, the revenue from the tournaments and the sand volleyball complex would cover the yearly maintenance. That was kind of the impetus and why we were able to move forward. This is intended to be will likely be the last active park facility north of Highway 50. So the rest of the park sites are rather passive in nature. There's a dog park also in Empire Ranch. There's another passive park. Some of the parks I think should be looked at that are in the park master plan.
Okay.
In an update of that.
Thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Since the costs are escalating, that's what I would prefer, to have it go back to Parks and Rec, and they can look at it as a whole, probably much better than I can. Thank you, Brad.
Brad, in that same spirit, because I've had longstanding questions about this park, the terrace nature of it, is the design team looking at a phasing plan for this, a potential phasing plan also, again, to address the cost escalation?
Yes, we are. So this wouldn't build out the entire park. So the
7.8 would not build out the entire park?
It would not build out the entire park.
Okay, so what's the real price tag?
The more than
The rest of the
7.8.
story, more than 7.8.
More than
Okay.
7.8.
All right.
So currently the
So the problem's bigger.
The pickleball would not be included, and likely this larger group picnic structure wouldn't be included.
There's like 900 pickleball courts right on the other side of this hill, so.
The wood dock and the wood bridge over the pond is not included, as well as the fishing dock out in the pond.
Okay.
So Brad, when you say 9 unfinished parks north of 50, this is one of the 9?
This is number 10.
This is number 10. So of the 9 after this, how many of those are in Empire Ranch? At least 2, right? Aren't there,
There are
2
2,
things planned
yes.
for Empire Ranch Road?
Right.
Yeah. And that may be
There are 3, I'm sorry. There's
3?
Yeah.
And that may be the discussion that actually has to be had is we may have to have fewer parks because they are more expensive. I mean, you can't build another park for $1.6 million. So, yeah, that may be our reality is that we're going to have fewer parks, but.
And that's something I think the commission could talk as a whole.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Agree.
So Mayor, just to clarify and close this one, this line item is already in this budget for $1.65 million. And this hasn't gone through, yes, it has gone through the commission and city council in 2022. Brad, I think we may be looking at you, the design cost, design thing going on. Do we have to approve that additional 1.65 right now in this budget? That's what it is in this budget.
We don't, council can do it. Council has authority to not approve.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
he has a reason why he put, that's what I want to make sure all the hard work he is putting.
You wouldn't have to. I think we could approve it if we chose to, in next year's fiscal budget.
So by then you will have all the design is done, and that's what the contract you are going through right now.
Correct. And our goal was to go out to bid for construction the beginning of next year, so that it would be under construction in the spring and the summer.
Then you need approval. Yeah, before you go to the public, yeah, you need approval right now, because that's the budget, right?
Right.
Yeah. if
Okay,
you go on.
that can become part of a motion later on, so please press ahead.
Okay. So McFarland Community Park, this is located at Hazel McFarland Park, which is at 1780 East Natoma Street. The community garden project is located on the undeveloped area surrounding the parking lot in East Natoma. So I'll fast forward to aerial here. So this is East Natoma here. This is the existing Hazel McFarland Park here. This is Empire Oaks Elementary School. This is Broder Family Homestead Park, and then this is the Harvest subdivision here. So this parcel right here is the identified as the community garden facility. So this would provide rentable garden plots for people to grow vegetables. The adjacency to Broder Family Homestead Park with its agricultural theme is really a natural complement. A program would, however, need to be developed to run the garden plot rentals and also staffing to run that program. The project includes completion of streetscape along East Natoma, which would include low decorative fencing, rentable garden plots, and garden equipment storage area. So this had previously also been approved for $350,000. There's no additional change in that budget. And so this is moving forward, or this is continued, I guess, with the $350,000. And that's, again, is the aerial. Any questions?
How are the grapes doing?
The grapes are doing well.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
So we had to adjust the irrigation system on them.
Okay.
And because the lava rock stuff was a little bit hotter than we anticipated, so it's retaining heat a little bit more. Amazingly enough, we thought harvesting the fruit was going to be an issue, but it hasn't been because it all just kind of disappears, which is kind of good, I think.
Yeah.
The crows are
So
getting
somebody's
it?
eating it. No, I think people are taking it, which is it's really okay.
I will just say that I love the idea of a community garden, and I hope we can incorporate at least one of these south of 50 where the lot sizes are smaller and people may not have room to grow their own vegetable gardens.
Good point.
A community vineyard even.
So any questions
No, thank you.
So that concludes that question, and
Okay, and then next question is, can you summarize what our park maintenance scope was before we downgraded last year, what we downgraded to last year, and what it will be in the coming year as proposed?
Good evening. So, park landscape maintenance contract is essential to the success of our park and trail maintenance system. More so, park maintenance shapes the livability and image of our community here in Folsom. Over the last year, our park maintenance standards have declined due to budget constraints. Requests for additional funding were submitted for several years. In 2023, the park system already had a very low-tiered park landscape maintenance contract with limited staffing. In December of 2023, the City Council voted to reject all landscape maintenance contracts due to a funding gap of a little bit over $800,000 annually. The City Council then instructed staff to move forward with service level reductions beginning in January of 2024 and enter into a new contract agreement for the next 6 months, which is set to expire July 1st of this year. So currently in front of you were the level of service before the downgrade in 2023. Then in January of 2024, we did a service levels of reduction. The following were removed from the 2024 contract. The herbicide application, fertilization, mow frequency were reduced to biweekly at non-active parks. Edging frequency was reduced, and trail maintenance, which was desperately needed, was completely removed from the contract. Some of that we were able to absorb in-house. The city has deferred park replacements, renovations for several years, and with the aging of our infrastructure and the additional service reductions, there are currently visible impacts that will only get worse in the near future. What we're proposing based on the level of service that was approved is we're going to do the very basic mow-only service. We will be eliminating our irrigation technicians. Without contracted irrigation technicians, our current staff will struggle to keep up with the necessary repairs. This could lead to increased flooding, broken pipes, sprinklers, as well as more brown and dead grass areas. This will be costly to recover if we choose to do so in the future. We will be discontinuing weed control, fertilization application, shrub maintenance, and edging. Parks will see a significant increase in unsightly weeds, and the quality of our turf will continue to decline. Without regular fertilization, the grass will suffer from nutrient deficiencies and turn brown. Shrub beds will become overgrown, and the turf will encroach on sidewalks, making our parks look neglected. Our landscape standards have already been declining. Our typical standard was 80% grass and 20% weeds. We've been slowly moving towards closer to 80% weeds and 20% grass, and this will take years to recover if the budget ever is chosen to be restored. We are also reevaluating our mow frequency. As today, with our reduced standards and moving into next year's budget, we are going to look at least at $300,000 of service level reductions, which is about a 50% reduction in services moving forward. If we do have to go to reducing our mow frequency in all parks, that will make sport fields less safe and less attractive for use and playability, could decrease the number of large tournaments that attract and impact potentially our revenue to rentals for large tournaments. In summary, these service reductions will lead to decline in the appearance and usability of our parks, impacting the health and vibrancy of our city. We may consider and prepare for long-term consequences of these cuts to our community. The longer these service cuts are in place, the harder and more expensive it will be to return to standard levels of service.
Any questions on that one?
I have a question. So there are certain times of the year when it rains that things grow faster than, say, the summertime when things grow a little slower. Is it possible that on the months where we're going to see a faster growth to maybe increase the services, and then in the months that we have less growth, which is right about now, we decrease it? I don't know if that's an option.
So that's something the Parks Planning Manager is taking a look at, looking at the slower months in the winter, just doing even less than a basic mow is just doing leaf removal. But those are things that we all are considering because we do have to reduce from today an additional $300,000 in the next fiscal year for our contract.
Yeah, and then also monitoring that when rain comes in during these hot months, then things will just grow back so fast. So, okay, thank you.
Part of the problem is also that we don't have state-of-the-art irrigation control systems. I mean, many of you in your own backyards have far superior systems than we do for the, million-plus sprinkler heads we have all over this city. So we're not set up to detect weather and respond accordingly. Much of it is manual and laborious and aging. So it's tough to make those kind of adjustments.
That's a good point, Elaine, and thank you for bringing that up. And a lot of our irrigation system is original to the original installation of those parks. And so that's something that we have looked at in our service level requests for the future.
Okay.
On the previous one, what is the cost, one more time? The total amount you are asking and you are cutting the services, what is the delta?
We put in a PLS request for about $860,000. I'm going off of memory. We were funded approximately $50,000 of that $800,000 and $60,000. Today, if we're looking at the reduced service levels for a year, it's approximately $1.1 million, and we need to get to $900,000. So we were estimating about a $300,000 reduction moving forward.
And all this is because of the $300,000 reduction.
We need to do $300,000 for next fiscal year reduction from where we were in January.
So less money available for rising costs in these areas.
Correct. And last year, we also had a one-time ARPA funding that we were able to use to close that funding gap for that 1 year. And we don't have that for the next fiscal year.
Is that less money, 900 grand or 300 grand? That's all I'm looking for.
We will be reducing services equal to $300,000 for these proposed, what you see for just basic mow.
Thank you. And this is entire city, not the L&L's takeout?
This is just general fund budget. The L&L budget, that's a totally different story.
So the communities where they're managing L&L's, theirs is normal, like all the maintenance and everything, none of these reductions are going to be
It depends
impacted?
on
The
which
issues are discrete to the particular
district.
L&L.
Yeah.
They're also under stress in terms of what they can spend.
Right.
how
There's
much money
different
they have to
funding for
spend.
each of the districts.
No, I understand that each of the districts, I once upon a time Parks Commissioner for 2 years. Now, I'm not going there at all. But my point is, so all this reduction is for the generally maintained, not under L&L. That's all I'm
Correct.
trying
It's
to
for
say.
any of the parks, trails that are maintained or landscapes under general fund. We do not have funding to continue at the reduced services currently.
Got it. Thank you.
So when we had to reduce services earlier in the year, it did not apply to ball fields. It now will apply to ball fields?
So those reductions in services for the mowing frequency did not apply to ball fields. But the other reduced herbicide applications, reduced fertilization, edging, that was throughout the entire system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next question that we received from a council member was, what is the cost recovery set at for Parks and Rec? I heard it was minimum 50%. So if Kelly, you can handle that one?
Sure. Okay, so for the Parks and Recreation Department, we have user fee and charges policies. That was adopted in 2007 and was most recently, last couple of years, approximately 2 to 3 years, was brought back and discussed at our Parks and Recreation Commission and then was reviewed with the City Council. These policies develop our fees, and there are thresholds related to these policies. These policies help ensure that we are prudent of our financial resources to maintain long, stable economic base and guide staff in evaluating strategies to set fees. These thresholds are reviewed annually as part of the budget process when establishing fees. Currently, we are currently meeting or exceeding thresholds. For services associated with a user fee, the fee should be offset by direct cost and indirect cost. So that's what we were talking about when we're establishing those fees. Direct cost means like for a softball program, if you're looking at a softball, that's a direct cost. And indirect cost might be a computer or staffing that oversees multiple programs. So when we're setting fees, we're looking at direct and indirect costs. Revenue cannot exceed the cost of providing that type of service. And these rate structures should be sensitive to what the market can handle. So according to our user fee policy, we have 3 thresholds for establishing fees for cost recovery. One is a high cost recovery fee, and that's for programs that there's a high individual benefit. And that tends to be focused on adults. Then we have a moderate cost recovery for establishing fees. This is when there's a community benefit, but then there's still that individual benefit. An example are youth sports and classes, and that threshold is 50 to 75% cost recovery for direct and indirect cost. And then there's a low cost recovery. This is primarily for youth programs, teens, seniors. Examples are Meals on Wheels, the Senior Center, and drop-in programs. So when you look at the user fee policy, these are the actual thresholds that were approved as part of that policy. So you can see the adult sports. A lot of our daycare services do generate a lot of revenue, so those are in the higher cost recovery thresholds. Then you can see the moderate, the youth facility rentals, the fee-based special events. And then the lower cost recovery is more that social service or that human experience, so those are the senior, teen services, Meals on Wheels, and then outdoor rentals. And then the overall aquatic center operations is moderate cost recovery between 50% to 75%. And within the aquatics, there's a deeper dive for different activity types or programs, and that includes recreation swim lessons, which are high cost recovery. And then low cost recovery is swim team programs and the joint use school program. So those are the thresholds that were established based on this user fee policy, and we are either meeting or exceeding those thresholds. But each year, so currently when we're looking at the fees that we're establishing and making recommendations, we were looking at these thresholds and we'll be bringing back some increased fees in the near future.
Can you go back one slide?
Sure. One more?
No, you were on the right one. Sorry, I just was looking for it. So like the community center that gets rented out a lot, do you have a cost recovery fee for that?
So facility rentals is between 50 to 75%
That would be under
cost
there.
recovery.
And then like the zoo, for example, I didn't see that one specifically.
So in the user fee policy, it just says the zoo is funded by, it will be a general fund program area. Our typical target for that is close to 50%. So it's been trending between direct and indirect, just below that 50% threshold. But that is not within that user fee policy currently.
Okay, so we don't have a dedicated policy, it's just
For
your
the
goal.
fee
Okay,
structure.
thank you.
Any other questions on that? Okay, and thank you, Kelly. And so now just a clarification, which actually Councilmember Chalem-Cherla touched on because I discussed it with him at his agenda review meeting. We talked at the last meeting about how our sales tax rate, growth rate has dropped considerably, and some of the trend relates to how sales from online purchases translate into revenues for Folsom. Those dollars actually go into a county pool first. The bottom line is that we get less sales tax revenue when a purchase is made online versus at a Folsom brick and mortar store. So there was some informal talk about lobbying the county about that, and I just wanted to clarify that the law that actually governs the way sales tax is distributed via a county pool comes from the state level through the Bradley-Burns Act, and it's administered at the state level by the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, and the county is just a recipient, as is the city. So we had talked about, picketing the county. Nobody should be picketing the county because this comes from the state. Okay, any questions on that? All right. So again, just as a reminder, the major elements of the city manager's proposed budget are listed up there. 1 park plan or 2, primarily focused on the Folsom plan area. 1 parks maintenance worker 1 focused on the Folsom Plan area, 2 public works street maintenance worker 1/2s, primarily focused on the Folsom Plan area, a homeless outreach team in the police department comprised of 1 new police sergeant, 1 new police corporal, and 4 police officers. 3 of the police officer positions will be funded by the city council, allowing the city manager to implement an overhire policy in the police department. On those 6 positions, I want to be clear that my desire would be to deploy those officers where needs are greatest in close cooperation and collaboration with Chief Hillman. For example, available officers could first staff beat 5, and then the homeless outreach team could be built from there, or vice versa. And the hot team could go up and down depending on how the challenge itself goes up or down. The budget proposes positions, not assignments, and that's what I talked about earlier. 1 fire division chief specifically focused on training our fire personnel, very much needed. Community development department software upgrades to improve our customer service and efficiency, and election costs in the clerk's office, as this is an election year. So the clerk's office every even number year goes up by about $60,000 or so. In addition, I have proposed 4 one-time expenditures out of the city's unassigned fund balance. Those expenditures include renovation of Kids Play Park, which is also called Castle Park, replacement of kitchen equipment, tables, and chairs at the Folsom Community Center, replacement of malfunctioning doors and lighting control in the lighting control system at the Folsom Public Library, and replacement of the city's primary data storage system that has reached end of life. I want to emphasize that I only proposed use of unassigned fund balance for one time, that is to say non-recurring expenditures that I felt were particularly urgent, and I only proposed a total of expenditures that, if approved by the City Council, would keep the city's fund balance within the City Council's newly adopted financial policy regarding the reserve. That policy says that the city shall maintain an unassigned fund balance, the reserve, for the general fund within a range of 17% to 20% of the annual operating expenditures, and these proposals fit within that range. And then, as Ms. Tamani and I shared last time with you, the rest of the budget is largely comprised of expenditures covered by enterprise funds or general fund expenditures that have just increased due to rising costs, whether salary benefits that come through our MOUs with our wonderful police officers and firefighters and other employees, or true-ups of other line items. Here are the general fund expenditures that fall into that last category, meaning the true-ups. You'll see that list there in the second list there. We are happy to pull up any slides from last time or any slide from tonight's presentation should the council wish to delve further into a topic. So next steps, just as a reminder, I brought you the city manager's proposed budget on May 28th. Today is your public hearing on the budget and your first opportunity to adopt the budget. As always, it is the city council's budget ultimately. You can change it in any way you see fit, as long as the result is balanced and legal, I guess I should add. And also, as always, the city manager does not have a vote on the budget. Last year at about this time, the current fiscal year budget was adopted by all 5 council members sitting on this dais unanimously, more than meeting the city's majority vote requirement. The budget must be adopted by at least a majority of the council by June 30th, or the city manager's proposed budget automatically becomes the city's fiscal year 24-25 budget. So with that, we'll put up the staff recommendation, which is staff recommends that the City Council pass and adopt resolution number 11210, a resolution adopting the fiscal year 24-25 operating and capital budgets for the City of Folsom, the successor agency, the Folsom Public Financing Authority, and the Folsom Ranch Public Financing Authority. And that concludes our presentation, and we are happy to take any questions, including our department heads. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Are there any discrete questions from the council? Otherwise, I'm going to take public comment and then we'll bring it back. Okay, let's do public comment.
Okay, so we will open the public hearing, and our first speaker will be Joanne Brosh, followed by Brett Hofstede.
As is the normal case, just as a reminder to everybody, 3 minutes is the standard time for presentations, unless you're really compelling.
I'm going to talk as fast as is humanly possible, sir.
clarity is important. It's okay.
Sorry, got to get back to the top.
Yeah. Yeah, my warning about the 3 minutes is for Bruce Klein.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, esteemed City Council members, Madam City Manager, hardworking City of Folsom staff members, commissioners, and neighbors. For those at large who do not know me, I am Joanne Broush. I am a 35-year resident of Folsom. I've been rewriting this entire thing as the evening progressed, so please bear with me. I am here tonight to speak regarding Folsom Kids Play, Castle Park. I participated in the original fundraising and build process back in 1996, have seen to it that gallons of stain have been slapped on it in the intervening years, and am passionate about seeing it responsibly restored. For a little more than 6 months now, I have been vocal behind the scenes to keep this park front and center in the budget discussions. I'm grateful for the support of Anna Rorba. The park is in her district. Kelly Gonzalez, our Parks and Rec Director, the Parks and Rec Commission, who has been advocating for this for far longer than I, and now to Elaine Anderson, City Manager, that Castle Park made the cut, and that you are tonight, as a council, considering approval of an allocation towards the rehabilitation of this greatly loved, vastly unique playground. The City Manager has recommended a $1.1 million allocation towards this project, and that would be amazing, seriously. However, while I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, I cannot stand before you as a citizen at large and in all good conscience ask you at this time to approve that full amount when the list of other needs is so long. I have never been advocating for the city to foot the major entire financial burden of this project. Again, that would be incredible if money were no object, but we all know that isn't the current fiscal reality. My goal has always been for the city to put some skin in the game and to demonstrate that returning this site to something resembling honoring the entire spirit of the original process and structure is also their priority. Being cautiously optimistic, hoping for receipt of a signal for receipt of that signal, I have rolled up my sleeves and gone to work. As such, I have accomplished the following. I have prepared the necessary paperwork for filing for the 501c3 nonprofit status, state and federal, reestablishing Folsom Kids Play. This time it will be Folsom Kids Play for generations. I have gathered a board to support the nonprofit and have generically determined that the community largely supports a second volunteer effort relative to restoration of Castle Park. I welcome any and all who wish to be instrumental in furthering this effort. I have a treasurer and CPA ready to open the necessary bank account. I have, without really getting started, collected verbal monetary pledges of support for the project. I have created a GoFundMe-like crowdfunding source. I have several fundraising projects conceptualized. I have created an email address and am working on a website where information will be very available and transparent. I have engaged an artist to work on creating a revised logo. I have consulted with several artists and would hope to engage our entire arts community.
Joanne, you are over time. Are you asking us to not fund this?
I am asking you to approve a reasonable allocation this evening and to give us, the nonprofit, an opportunity to work our magic. The thought would be you can distribute whatever balance there might be of the $1.1 million suggested tonight to address other also pressing needs, other parks, trails, etc., that make up that long list which equal the looming structural deficit. My concern is that I believe you have to go out to bid. So the numbers that have been presented this evening aren't real or actual numbers. They're merely placeholders. Let's have you put some money into the system now to demonstrate commitment to the process. Let's see what the nonprofit can raise, and let's get to a place of actual design, go out to actual bid, and take it from there.
Thank you.
Next speaker will be Brett Hofstede, who will be followed by Nalima Patel.
Hi everyone, I'm Brett Hofstede, and one of many family members here who care about Folsom history and Folsom today and Folsom future. So the budget is a big issue. And instead of bringing complaints and criticisms and things you can't do or shouldn't do, I'm going to propose a solution, something you can do to not only reduce one of the major expenses for the city, but improve the city employees' and families' quality of life as well. So whether we like it or not, the city of Folsom is in the healthcare business because healthcare costs are a major employee expense and employee salaries are a major expense for the city. So what I've learned in some time as a health and life insurance agent, one of my previous careers, is that there's a lot of companies and municipalities that have found better solutions. One of them is the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I have a case study here I hope to share with you, with somebody here. What they've done is they've decided they need a fresh approach for their city budget and services and employees' healthcare. So they changed into something that is more localized, it's more independent, and more open. And with this transformation, the year after they did this, their employee healthcare costs reduced 26%, and then they held it steady for the next 5 years after that with no increases, whereas most of the country was seeing 5 to 6 to 9% annual increases for healthcare. So I'd like to, so with the reason, or the way they did that was the city benefits manager worked together with the city council, elected officials, the city manager, the unions, and they devised this transition plan and they made it happen. And the benefits were not only cost, it improved the retention for the employees, it reduced the out-of-work days, it reduced on-site and on-time or on-the-job injuries, and it also brought more business into the local community because they focused on localized health care and health solutions versus sending money and profits and waste to corporations that went out to other places around the area. So the other group they worked with is a company called Health Rosetta, which helps companies and citizens and municipalities make these transitions. It was founded by a man named Dave Chase, and he also happens to be someone who became a state-ranked track and field coach in his high school. So somebody here might relate to that. So what I'd love to do is provide this as somebody who could give this to the benefits manager. I realize it's not something we can do for this fiscal year budget or next year's budget. It has to be a process. But with your support, I'd love to facilitate
If you'll
that.
provide it to the city manager, we'll investigate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Nice suggestion.
You can just hand your document to the officer, would be great. And
Okay.
we'll make copies for everyone.
Next speaker will be Nalima Patel, followed by Gary Qualsett.
Hi. I know there's been a lot of discussion today about how officer resources are allocated and who makes that decision. So I'm speaking to whoever's making that decision and whoever is influencing that decision. The city of Folsom should be assigning officers to cover all beats in Folsom. All Folsom residents should be given the same basic police services and protection. Beat 5 has a number of residents that warrants an assigned officer at all times, like other areas of Folsom. If Beat 5 does not have an assigned officer at all times, then response times for emergencies will be longer for those residents. When there's minimum staffing, 4 officers traveling long distances to cover all beats makes all of Folsom less safe. If one beat does not have as much crime as another, it is not an acceptable solution to not assign an officer at all times. That is not a good long-term solution. We should be trying to maintain lower levels of crime by having a basic level of police presence in all beats. The property taxes from residents covered by Beat 5 make it possible to hire additional officers, so these residents deserve to have an officer assigned at all times, just like all other areas of Folsom. Also, earlier we were talking about how much coverage there has been in Beat 5, and it was 50% of days, but that could have been only one shift. So it wasn't that there was coverage for the entire day. So I think that is significant as well. And I do have a little bit of time left, so I just want to say I applaud everything that the woman who spoke about Castle Park said. I think it's great that she is taking that initiative and being creative and trying to save the city money. So I'm fully supportive of that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker will be Gary Qualsett, who will be followed by Robert Goss.
Hello, honorable city council members. I ran out of time to speak last meeting. I indicated I'd be back, so here I am. And I can guarantee you the end of this will be compelling. I will try to get through it as quick as possible. I'd like to share some thoughts for you to consider about the budget and budget process. Give yourselves more time to create and contemplate the city budget as a council body. Only having about 1.5 months time is not nearly enough on such a critical decision for the city as a whole. Start much earlier with direction to staff so they can present alternatives and options to you in March or April, not in May and June, when an ultimatum of a decision is then in front of you that must be approved or it defaults to the city manager's originally presented budget. A budget structural deficit is a self-created situation by presenting a budget that is out of balance if you let yourself get there. A budget that creates a structural deficit is one that presents a plan to spend more than is brought in. The League of California Cities indicated about a third of the California cities are expressing concerns with tight budget situations this year. Also, the Government Finance Officers Association, or GFOA, indicates that the preliminary steps a city should take when there are signs of a budget predicament is to look to control costs and enhance existing revenues. I'm hoping the city's already done the expense drills on things like that. Don't use reserve funds this budget year until you really know if a sales tax increase will pass. If it doesn't, you may not like your next year's budget if you reduce the reserve too much. From a revenue perspective, the GFOA also suggests researching and applying for grants, examining existing fee structures for services, improving billing and collection methods, and auditing existing tax revenue sources. For revenues, at the last meeting, I was also going to say much of the previous I just mentioned that the GFOA recommends, but also going to add some additional suggestions to what I said last week. Ensure all businesses are licensed, including home-based and rental businesses. It's real easy to audit for. For businesses, you can do drive-bys. Home-based and rentals can be found online and on Google Maps, etc. Consider increasing the TOT, or the transit occupancy tax, and charge it to Airbnbs and Verbos that are short-term rentals and should be paying this as well. They're easy to find. Go to the rental sites and search for Folsom addresses. Our outsiders will pay this tax. Consider hiring grant application writing staff. You could consider licensing our solid waste residential pickup services franchise, like Citrus Heights and Rancho Cordova do, to potentially bring in $2 to $3 million a year. And lastly, and this is the most compelling item, and lastly, and most importantly, as has been indicated on some recent screens and as Mr. YK mentioned, for a real permanent solution, get the revenue and taxation code changed or better complied with when it comes to the sales tax allocation process to true it up within Sacramento County, not with Sacramento County, but within, for all the cities and the unincorporated areas. For distribution of revenues by place of purchase or order location and zip code. The information is there for online retail sales. How else does that product get to your front door?
Thank you. You got to bring this in for a landing here. Time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is the most compelling item. Ask for an audit of the CDTFA local allocation calculations and process, or file an appeal if it's ultimately needed. And those are allowable procedures that are allowed in the revenue tax. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next speaker will be Robert Goss, who will be followed by Bruce Coyne.
Good evening, members of City Council, City Manager. I had no plans to speak tonight, but I am shocked how far we've fallen. The Folsom Parks and Recreation system 10 years ago, 15 years ago, was a model in the region and in the state. We are no longer. What I heard Kelly Gonzalez say is frankly shocking, how little maintenance is going to actually be done. It is still millions of dollars, but in present day value, our Parks and Recreation system, just the parks, not the recreation facilities, the zoo, the sports complex, the aquatic, just the parks. Present day value is somewhere north of $250 million. Parks are infrastructure. Think about what's in a park. It's not just grass and trees and picnic tables. It starts with the grading and infrastructure, the underground, the sewer lines, water lines, storm drain lines, short roads, parking lots, structures, all these utilities. Then you have the amenities, and then you put the landscape, the icing on the cake. It's a very complex system. to not have the reason there was a irrigation tech being dropped from your contract is because it was contract. It was part of this blended approach that we adopted years ago, where we had fewer public employees and we contracted for some at a lower rate. Now we're dropping that irrigation tech. These systems, over 350 acres, are complex. We will be wasting water and causing damage when stuff breaks, because stuff breaks every single year. No maintenance on the trails. Trails are the #1 recreation element or amenity in any city, in any state in this country. It's just a matter, we've done it better than almost anybody. To have little or no maintenance on our trails is also shocking. Here's the proposal. I think there's more investment calculation that needs to be done. You all put the citizens measure, tax measure on the ballot for November. I think ought to be, to Gary Qualls' point, take another breath, bring this back in 2 weeks, but do a calculation on what it would take to make sure that the maintenance stays as good as we can. Let's see what happens in November. You have to budget for it all year, obviously, because you won't get the sales tax revenue if it passes until the beginning of fiscal year 25-26. But this year, this is the tipping point for our park system. Invest in it to hold the fort. And if you have to make the horrible cuts next year, make them next year. But you're going to end up spending far more this year or afterwards if you make that cut this year. I just ask that you try to find a way to hold it together one more year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker will be Bruce Klein.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Again, thank you, City Manager and staff, for pointing out where we stand today, both on our fiscal problems that face the city, as well as all the operational and deferred maintenance problems that exist in our city. I'm Vice President of Friends of Folsom Parkway. I'm also chair of, now will be known as Measure G, which we hope we pass in November. I'd like to applaud the staff for really being able to hold on through all these times. You hear a lot of chatter out there, cut, cut, cut. And this budget and these presentations that have been made over the last periods definitely highlight the fact that there is not the ability to cut. I'd like to applaud our police department. I mean, every week it seems like we hear yet another amazing arrest, retail theft, fentanyl, whatever it is. We hear it despite the fact that we have 9 fewer officers today than we did 15 years ago. They're doing an amazing job. I'm super glad that we're going to hopefully be able to add 6 more officers to our corps. That is not enough. I'm glad that we're able to add a fire training chief. That is also not enough. I'd like to do a couple highlights from the last presentation. The city manager made a couple comments that there will be noticeable reductions in maintenance in our parks. One athletic director who has attended some of our meetings relative to the tax measure said our fields are an embarrassment in our region compared to other places. At one point, we were the shining star. Kelly mentioned tournaments and tournaments on grass. Those are not possible according to our colleagues at SURF who support this measure. They say that you cannot play a tournament on grass in our community. Those are big revenue generators. Lots and lots of opportunity for comments. I don't have recommendations relative to change, but I really appreciate that you've pointed out what is necessary and that clearly additional revenue is necessary if we want to keep Folsom the quality of life place that we enjoy. Again, thank you for pointing out all the opportunities for changes. I applaud Joanne Brouch's comments. I'm not sure I agree with those. The community has been demanding that we repair Castle Park. We know that those costs exist, and I think if you're going to evaluate that when you add, people helping on those park projects, you got to really evaluate whether that's a cost savings at all. I'm not sure that it is. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any other public comment?
You have no further requests to speak on this item.
Okay, so City Council, you have the exciting opportunity to make a motion or...
Mayor, may I recommend that we close the public hearing, please?
Public hearing is hereby closed. City Council, you have the exciting opportunity to make a motion to approve or kick this to next meeting, or make some recommendations as part of a motion or commentary about how we might adapt this to what we've heard tonight and discussed.
Could I ask a clarifying question? So in order to maintain the level of park, field, and all that kind of stuff, maintenance that we've had since January, we'd need an additional $300,000. Did I understand that correctly?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and if we wanted to restore it to what it was prior to January, we'd need another what? We need $900,000 total?
Kelly, can you come on up? Thank you.
I would estimate about another $200,000.
So 500
so-
total.
Yeah, so $300,000 to restore to January levels, $500,000 to restore to last year's levels. Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Can I add on to that? It's in the same frame of line. You asked for another maintenance worker, or Elaine submitted another maintenance for Parks and Rec. How will that impact the overall maintenance?
With the amount of deferred maintenance, we're just trying to keep up. We have more than 20 parks that are past their life cycle. Our team has been doing an incredible job making sure that those are maintained. So we're just talking about landscape. We don't even have the equipment in-house to look at over 1,000 acres of landscape. So that additional maintenance person will help with our regular maintenance of our playground structures and our playgrounds.
Okay, but so it's not really going to make a huge impact on the things that you were
landscape.
talking about. All
Right.
of the, okay, thank you.
Can we put up the slide that shows the ongoing positions and things that are, proposed in this budget? Because if we wanted to, let's just say we wanted to restore to January 2024 levels, $300,000 has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah, so because that's a recurring cost, you would, ideally with, solid fiscal strategy, pick from your list of recurring costs. So you would trade off.
Our unfunded was at 20.3%. So it was just slightly above the 20% that we're looking at. Is it a possibility to utilize the funds from that account to
Unassigned fund
suffice?
balance?
Because it's at 20.3, I think, if I remember the slide.
Right, but we're dipping into that to pay for, that's what's proposed, to pay for kids' play park.
Correct.
The equipment at the community
Correct.
center, a couple of things. But plus, that's using one-time money for an ongoing
It is one-time
expense.
money for, right.
So then the price, goes up the following year, and you've used a one-time source to pay for it, and then you don't have anything to pay for it again, is the challenge. So ideally, you would use a recurring source.
So Sarah, I had a thought before this came up, and so maybe it will work in this instance. We have a contingency fund of 1.1, which is ongoing revenue. I do like Ms. Brosh's idea of, and I am concerned about the fiscal responsibility and the look it looks like to our public. I've been advocating for this kids' play park for a long time, but I have, I'll get to the point where it connects with what you're talking about. So coming from a different city and being on city council there, we had an instance where there was a shooting and there was a peace park, to not get into the details, but one of our public officials yanked a grant that the community had worked 15 years for to put it towards a peace park without community input. And they were very, very upset. And it reduced the amount of community involvement and healing in certain ways. And so, and they were already willing to fundraise some money. And this park was only going to cost $400,000, so it was a lot less expensive. But I saw what it did to community to kind of yank that from them. And I appreciate one of the speakers commented, having someone help build it or something doesn't save that much. But what I've heard has been pledged, which is all theory until it comes in, is quite a bit of money. So my concern with Kids Play Park in general was to take the community out of it. So I do like her idea of reducing the amount we take out of the reserves. But since the city manager has already presented 1.1 and has done the financial analysis, that puts us in a very fine rate. I think it was 18-something% of our reserves. That maybe we reduce Kids Play Park and so maybe we reduce it to 600,000. I'm just picking a number. That gives us another 500,000 out of that. And I understand it comes out of the reserve fund, but instead of giving that to an ongoing expense, why don't we use that as a contingency fund, part of the contingency fund? And then from the ongoing revenue from our contingency fund, which is 1.1 million, put that towards our parks. I was going to advocate for this to fund another officer instead of just 3 funding another one. But I think in light with what I've heard and kind of the sense I'm getting from other council members, that could be a way to tap into the contingency fund, but we'll still have $1 million in the contingency fund because of that reserve, so we can kind of put in there just for safekeeping. Contingency fund and the unreserved fund balance are basically the same thing. It has to come back to council for appropriation anyways. Whatever we don't use out of that fund goes back to the general reserve unbalanced fund, or unassigned fund balance. So it's just a way to get creative to, make sure that we don't go too far down this trend of not maintaining our parks at the level. The 2 things I think that are most important to this community, and other people might have different opinions, but our safety, our police department being at the top of that, and our parks and trails. So that would be maybe an option to discuss without having to cut anything else at this moment.
Yeah. Would it be simpler to just call on the Mrs. Broush and the community group to set a goal of the $300,000 and shift that for this coming budget year to the park maintenance budget? So
that's basically.
Is that what you were saying?
Basically, I mean, if you did 500,
600 instead of 1.1.
Well, I would say less. Yep, 800 is fine. This is something we can talk about. But if we say 700, well, maybe we ask the community to match up to. We might as well ask them to match it all. But let's have them match what the city puts in. Have that be a community goal. I'm having a goal for the community is a great idea. Is that what you're asking?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, just naming a goal, I think, is useful for setting things in motion. And because construction wouldn't probably actually begin on the park until the beginning of next calendar year, the cost of it will actually bridge across into the subsequent budget, and we can address any funding gap.
And that allows,
which we're kicking the can a little bit, but probably
or
for a good
we can still
purpose.
fast track it, but it allows us to go out for an RFP. I don't think we have to be attached to Leathers. I think they should be. That's who built the park before, or the design of it. But it can allow us to get creative and make sure we have the essence of Castle Park. And maybe there's some fees or things that we can cut there. Probably not. I mean, 1.1 million doesn't seem too far off, but yeah. So
okay, all right. So maintain conceptually the budget that was proposed, but actually fund $800,000 for it, and use the 300 for park maintenance.
Yes, if that's the that's a number.
Oh, what number would you prefer?
I think I'd like to hear from the rest of the council.
Okay.
8
and 3 is how I would suggest it if it was left to me, but I'm open to other suggestions.
Well, that definitely helps. For the last 3.5 years, I have been preaching for public-private partnership. This may be indirect public-private nonprofit partnership. It goes very well. That way, it gives some kick in, at least the bigger items, not the benches and tables. Mm-hmm. The other point I just want to make sure, thank you for bringing this parks maintenance. Kelly, you have done an awesome job scaring all of us. 20% weeds, 80% grass. If we continue, 80% weeds, 20% grass. I still remember those numbers. Thank you.
We can't run the car with no
exactly,
oil in it.
Right?
Yeah.
I just want to go back quickly, rather than touching today. our finance director presented Q3 numbers at the beginning of this meeting. If we all can remember, 645K extra, we are adding it to contingency. The revenue expenditure, there is a surplus of 645K as of Q3. There is money. So before even we get here, we can probably enact to help her and continue that one. That's my recommendation. At the end of the day, again, I'm going to speak this way. Whether it is a left pocket or front pocket or back pocket, it is the same people's money. So, but technically speaking, there is right now in this fiscal year, I'm not talking the future fiscal year, this is future, there is 645K excess dollars. Okay?
It's
Can I just get
it's a projected
clarification?
number, and it's incorporated into next year's budget. 'Cause
Right now,
goes-
it is
goes
out
to the
there.
res-
We cut
unassigned
right
res-
now.
Okay, so if we were to choose to give the city manager instructions to spend some of that, right? First of all, it's a projection. We don't have the fourth quarter numbers yet. It is factored into where our unassigned fund balance will start for this budget that we're talking about. So we're actually taking it from this budget. So just for everybody's understanding.
The back pocket, front pocket, that's the concept I'm coming back again, but there
it's
is
material
funds.
to this discussion. It's not.
Yeah, it is. But I highly recommend going with the concept Joanne, speak about. We want to kick in that public-private partnership plus non-profit partnership with the cities.
So what challenge do you want to give to them? I suggested $300,000 or in kind, to that.
I don't, unless we go and sit with them and feel the pulse, then we can. Otherwise, just push it. Hypothetically, I'm going to say, if it is lucky enough, they are succeeding, we are all helping. Qualcomm started a new business in our town. Qualcomm is a what, $90 billion company? $500,000 to put their, public-private partnership. I don't know what I don't know.
I'm not saying we won't take more. I'm just saying as a starting
So
point.
that's why I'm saying 300 or going ahead and talking to whatever that they want. They're brand new business in this town, 2 months old. They want to put their name out. Castle Park is a wonderful place. How we are going to do it, that's a secondary. I'm not going there.
Elaine,
So
could I just get clarification?
Yeah.
The contingency fund, is that the $900,000 account that is it about 900,000?
It's designated by the council's financial policy, and Stacy, maybe you can walk the council through that.
Yeah, your current financial policy requires that you have 1% of the expenditure budget dedicated to contingencies. And in the policy, it says the contingency appropriation may be used to provide for unanticipated or unforeseen needs that arise during the year. And it's supposed to be at the full 1%.
Okay.
So it'd be $1.1 million in this current budget.
So you'd be trading off, what you don't know is going to happen.
Right,
Like
right.
all the number of things that we've brought to this council they were all
That's what I'm remembering.
unexpected. And
Yeah.
so I did want to point that out, and thank you for asking that question. And I also wanted to point out that we would need to go out to bid for Kids Play Park. And once we award bids, we are obligated as the city of Folsom to pay that bill. So if we do not have said donated funds, it rests on the city. So if, to me, the very responsible thing to do would be, if this is really the model the city wants to take, is that whatever the number is, you say, we're going to put $800,000 in this budget, and then you do not move forward at all until you have money donated from said organization and in a special earmarked fund of the city. We can't do it based on, we think we're going to get this money, or we're going to end up paying that bill.
Nobody was suggesting otherwise.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Good.
understood.
So bringing it back to the council, when I heard the contingency fund, or we can pull it from, I don't know who said it now, but was that the idea? Or was that the recommendation?
I simplified what Councilperson Rohrbaugh was saying in just adjusting what we budget for Castle Park and expect to either get some in-kind or donated funds or we end up taking the additional funding from some contingency or the subsequent year's budget in order to complete the
And so to
construction.
add on to that, because I understand the financial policy, which this year is equating to $1.1 million. So use that reserve fund, that the 300,000 that we'd have, that we wouldn't be using, that was in the proposed budget for Kids Play Park. Use that $300 to fill in our contingency fund for the year. So get it back up to 1.1 million. The 300,000 then could be used towards the parks. You're just like,
Yeah.
you're just dumping in one bucket to dump in the other.
I'm gonna
But it's
let
the
Stacy
concept
figure
of
that
making
part
sure
out,
we
yeah.
have, making sure we have 1.1 million in the contingency fund. And we're just taking a little out of, we're taking the reserves, instead of putting 300,000 into the park, we're taking 300,000 of the reserves to put in the contingency fund to get it up to that level.
So not reduce the budget for Kids Play Park.
Reduce the budget for Kids Play Park, but keep the 1.1 we're already taking out of the reserves.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly what you said before, but
Yeah.
I don't know how I
Okay.
confused,
All right.
but yeah.
No problem. I'm tracking.
Can I just make a recommendation that you wouldn't need to reduce the contingency, just do the whole thing out of the unassigned fund balance?
Yes.
So you would say $800,000 towards this park and $300,000 to something else, and just leave the contingency at the
Perfect.
full 1%.
I just know, using one-time funds for,
They're both.
Yeah, it's
they're
not
both-
recommended.
but with the idea that we're gonna have revenue generating throughout the year, that is much simpler.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking of it as just kicking the decision of where the additional funds will come from to later when we know more about the exact budget, once we get the design done and stuff like that, so, good, excellent. And that gives $300,000 back to park maintenance to maintain the reduced services level from last year.
Right. Chief Hillman, can I bother you for one more question, please? Definitely, I'm not interested in micromanaging your department. You're the expert, but I'm 100% in favor of the 6 officers. But my question to you is, if the direction from the council was, we want all 5 beats to be staffed as the top priority, would you then try to use overtime to staff the hot team, or is that would people sign up for that? Is that a less desirable?
Yeah, we've talked about
assignment?
doing just that. We've talked about doing just
Okay.
that. Yeah, we know that the staffing of B5 is very important. We know that homeless outreach is very important.
Right.
And we're doing our best to try to get that done.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we have talked about that, and it is no bother. I hope I didn't come off
No,
earlier
you
as
didn't.
if it was a
But you
bother
were
at
sitting back there, and I had to make you come all the way back down.
Can I follow up on that? If you're working in a vacuum and your assignment was only to make sure there was an officer on beat 5 every hour of every day, what staff do you need to add to the police department to achieve that goal, independent of hot team?
Independent of a hot team, there are 6 shifts to cover 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So I would need to add 6 people to the department. Now, we have some already that we have allocated over the past 6 years. There's been 5 people added to the department with funds from South of 50. 3 of those are assigned to our POP team, and 2 are assigned to those beats right now.
Okay, you've confused me more than I was to
Sorry
start out
about
with.
that. Let me take this back and just strike it
You're
all.
dealing with the minimum staffing level. You are staffing beat 5 some parts of the week.
Yes.
Not consistently on the weekends or
Correct.
graveyard.
Correct.
Is that
Not
accurate?
on graveyard shifts, not consistently on days on the weekends.
Days on the weekends and graveyard shifts are the spot where we would need to have additional officers to be able to staff.
No, I'm sorry. Graveyard is staffed with 5
Graveyard.
people. Yes.
Okay, it is. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So during the week, we're good.
On the graveyard shift.
Monday through Friday, we're staffed for all 5 beats. Maybe we need to bring the chart back up because
Stacy, can you go back to the
it wasn't. It was not.
Chief can?
Yeah, it looked like we had weekend coverage issues.
Oh wait, we're into Parks and Rec.
Yeah, you're right before Parks and Rec. Oh,
I'm looking forward to additional budget changes down the road, and I just want to know what we're heading for.
should be right before Parks, Chief.
Yeah.
Just keep going
In a
up until you
perfect
don't
world.
see Parks pictures anymore. I think right there.
Right there.
That's
There
it,
we go.
right there. Okay,
Got
so
there.
I'm seeing 5s. That means there's
5
coverage.
officers assigned to those shifts. So we have coverage, 5 officers on duty during those times of the day.
Does that mean that
So-
all 5 beats have an officer assigned to
Yes.
them?
Yes.
Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4,
So-
5, 6 shifts
Yes.
where we're short potentially. Saturday, Friday evening,
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, so to solve for 5 on those shifts, what's that additional staffing like? Is it 6 more officers or is it?
It's the guaranteeing part.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. If I had a couple more officers, then I can get those numbers to 5. It's just when somebody gets hurt or takes a day off, that's when they drop to the 4 again. So
So this is on average.
yes.
But if you had 2 more,
Yeah, this
the
is
average would
today.
be
This is what today
better.
looks like. And it changes and has changed quite a bit over the past 12 months in this fiscal year. As I bring more people on, there's people also getting hurt.
Okay.
So
People are
I've
going to
ordered
ask
bubble wrap
us
and
how
things
many
like that.
more police do we need? So
Yeah.
even after these 6. So okay, thank you.
And can
Well,
I
he
just,
did propose 10 in the, I think it was with sergeants and 2 corporals,
I'm
10
not-
in the budget. Yeah. We're not asking for 10. but-
When you proposed 10, did that solve both of these problems?
Yes.
That's the number. So 4
Yes.
more in addition to the 6, and you have this coverage and a hot team dedicated.
Yeah, I think I had proposed 9 in total, 7 officers, a sergeant and a corporal.
Okay.
That would have, a hot team, all these beats covered adequately.
3 or more in addition to what we're doing right now. Okay, very good. We're
And
gonna
could I
get there.
just-
We're gonna get there.
okay, and I just, not to be a bother, but I wanted to make a comment which the council consistently said you are looking to fast track Kids Play Park, and I just felt like I wanted to go on record saying the model that you've come up with is not going to fast track Kids Play Park. So as long as everyone's okay with that, I want to be clear, what you've proposed is going to take longer, perhaps a lot longer. And that's okay, but I just want to be clear about it.
I want to be, okay, so
I also want to just remind us that we get tons of emails every week on something related to Kids Park, Castle Park. It's not safe. Parts of it are closed off. So
Kids Play Park needs to be a priority, and I don't think the suggestion that was made is intending to slow it down. I think it's challenging the neighbors in that neighborhood to put some skin in the game again, if they're willing, and if not, the council will have the decision to make sometime when we put that RFQ out to fund it further. That's all that was suggested, I think. Because it has to come from someplace. And we can't, if we slow down, we will get criticized. But if we let all the rest of the parks suffer, we'll be criticized for that. So trying to strike a balance here. All right. Any other questions, comments, discussion items, a motion?
About the whole thing in a whole? You really want that motion, just slow down. I'm just teasing you.
Yeah.
So I had several things. I think we already had some good discussion, so I appreciate other council members being willing to look at some options. I really do want to get the community engaged in that Kids Play Park. I do not want to take them out of it, and I think they will fundraise the heck out of it, and I think it can still be fast-tracked. So, but I have a lot of goals and hopes. So anyways, the one thing that I asked for that I didn't see in the budget was a travel budget, and we've had conversations about this. Costs have gone up, as we've heard. So traveling for $3,400 each council member a year is not sufficient if you go to one of these events. My experience in previous council was I went to DC 3 different times. We were able to bring back grant opportunities. We're able to, just having the kind of, National League of Cities is what I'm speaking to. There is so much there. It is different than California League of Cities. So that is something that I want to put as a priority that I want to travel to next year. You meet, it's going to be probably very similar to cap. And speaking of cap, I think every council member here has gone by their second year. It was not budgeted that I could go. And I think we need to change our mindset on this. I think with the 2 new council members coming on, 5,000 budgeted to them, their first council year is probably sufficient because it's only half a year anyways. But I think we need to change. The other cities around us are sending 2, 3, 4 council members to these things so they can split up, they can go to all the things on homeless, on crime, on parks, on all, human resources, everything. It's so valuable. And you're meeting with your congressmen and women and lobbyists and chamber, all the things. So I hope that you guys can trust that my past experience is what I'm talking about, how valuable it is. When I went to the city summit, Rancho had staff there. They had all 5 council members and their mayor. That was just one example. We're missing out. If all the cities around us are at these tables and we're not, there's grant opportunity, there's grant writing opportunities that you can connect with people to help. So if we can't afford to hire a grant writer, well, then we can now invest in council members to obviously not write it. I'm not writing it, but to know what's out there, engage in the person that can help us. So I would propose that either we all just kind of say which events we want to go to next year. And then we can kind of budget around that. Or I would say we increase our budget from $17,000 as a total to $40,000. If we don't spend it, if people do not go, the budget goes back into the general fund the next year. That would allow, my goals is to go to NLC next year, cap, and ICSC. And I went to ICSC twice now since I've been on council. Very valuable, been able to bring things back right away. So that would be my proposal. I talked to Elaine during my agenda review, and she even said it was reasonable, and $23,000 in addition is not that much. We don't make anything, so to fund it ourselves is ridiculous. But I think when you have a council member or council members that want to go, engage, spend the time, take their private time, and invest in these kind of things, get to know the players and bring grants back. I can talk to every department. There's grants out there for us. So that's what I would propose. Either a $40,000 total, so increasing it by $23,000, or we can each discuss what we want. And either way, we're going to be within, I'm going to guess, 5,000 or 10,000 of that.
I want to clarify that I must have misunderstood you because I didn't hear 40. I think when you said 23,000, I was hearing it as you wanted to go from 17 to 23,000. I didn't understand you were wanting to go to 40,000, which is $8,000 per council member. So I just want to say that that was different from what I understood in our conversation.
Well, I can provide feedback on that. I think from the very beginning, this has been one of the most frustrating parts of being a council member is that I feel so limited in being able to connect with, say, other council members at some of these events that come up. And the first year, I took it as, okay, I can't remember what I did, but the second year, it just happened to be a fluke that I was able to go to cap because the mayor at the time couldn't go, and so it was, okay, great, what a great opportunity. But I do believe that we should be funding our travel expenses a little bit higher because just even alone this year, it's been a little frustrating that, it's been exceeded, I can't go, and it's limiting. And as council members, I think we should have that ability to attend some of these events that are incredibly beneficial to us as council members. Just alone cap to cap was incredibly eye-opening as far as the possibilities that we have as council members. And so I think adding to the travel budget would be beneficial to us to be able to grow. And next year, we're going to have 2 new council members. There's a lot of information that these 2 individuals will be able to gain by attending some of these events. So I wholeheartedly support adding a little extra to the council member travel.
I'm going to disagree respectfully with my colleagues. To me, increasing the council's travel budget is not a priority at this time. I didn't go to cap until this year for my first time, my 6th year on the council.
Same.
I actually think our mentality should be divide and conquer. I don't see any reason why 3, 4, or 5 council members need to be at the same event or the same conference. And I guess a question for you, Elaine, is if we were to increase it, where would you take it from? What would be your recommendation?
I mean, the only thing that occurs to me, which is discouraging to me, but is a source, is trying to feed this IT fund at a measly $50,000 that we would just take that away. You know, we'd take away 23,000 of it, so we'd put $27,000 into IT for the whole city for a fund to, you know, for future issues that we're trying to seed this fund. We started at 50, but that's the only, I don't know, Stacy, if anything else occurs to you, that's kind of where my head goes.
There's just a couple other very small things. $4,000 for holiday display that we spend on. These are things in non-departmental that are discretionary. $5,000 for special events. The city manager buys a table somewhere for an event. Fed Corp, $50,000. And that's about it. The rest of them are required expenditures in non-departmental.
GSEC, maybe Greater Sacramento Economic Council.
Yeah, a couple of those.
Yeah.
Just to clarify too, we do spend money on the council meetings. So you have to reduce that 17,000 by about 2,000. So you have about 15,000 for travel.
So 3,000 each, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't support that.
FedCorp is very similar to what we are talking here, isn't it? It's $50,000 for FedCorp.
Yes, in the budget.
Very similar to what we are talking, council members, you know, representing in various events. So can we balance that dollars? How much we are spending every year, overspending, underspending? We can move some of that money. I can definitely see the value. You know, when Rosario was there, you know, she experienced, you know, cap to cap, and the next year she came, YK, you must go, because she has seen the value. I'm so sorry, you know, you're going to get a chance to go until 6 years, but there is a value which I have gone, and we are talking only 2,000-3,000. At the end of the day, it is taxpayers' money. I value that. We are only asking move from FedCorp to some money to this one. That's all I'm saying.
Would it be possible to, I agree that budget should be larger. There's a lot of benefit to us doing what effectively is an economic development strategy for, you know, relationships and outreach and
But
education.
even just learning, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of value there. Is the budget actually $17,000?
Yeah, so
Okay. So
we're
if we were-
proposing
if-
taking it up to 40,000 is what's on the table.
If we were able to pull from the IT, that small IT budget to get it up to 25, that would be something. And then I think we have to revisit this one
Well, or we can
in
do it
the
this way.
subsequent year. And then we should have a joint conversation about the merits of which events everybody should go to.
I mean,
so
we
that
could
can
pledge,
divide and
because
conquer.
Sarah, I mean, Councilmember Aquino, Kozlowski, and I will be here next year.
Sure.
So the two new members, we could budget easily $3,500 to go to California League of Cities, or $5,000 each, right? And that's 6 months that they have to travel. So maybe if we just talk about, to pare it down, what events that I mentioned the 3 that I want to go to, and then we can know a more accurate budget, and then we can figure out where to take it from. Because if we're only talking about 10 more thousand, then I say let's take it from this year's contingency fund, and you know, or let's take it from, instead of, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. One of the vehicles for one, you know, 700,000, because that's not in the budget, but let's make it 690. I mean, you know what I mean? There's, I think that we could direct the city manager to go back and look and see where there's money. I'm not really in favor of taking out of the IT budget.
Okay.
But I think so, you know, I want to go to 2, it will be, I mean, to 3, cap to cap, NLC and ICSC, so probably about 12,000. I mean, you usually go to the chamber one,
That's been the only thing that I've usually gone to.
so that's five-ish.
Yeah, and my trip to Cap was covered by RT, so.
Well, that was super nice. And then
Yeah,
Sarah?
just thinking creatively.
To be honest with you, I haven't done much traveling. If anything, on this council, I think I went to the California League of Cities one time in Sacramento, so that's just a conference fee. There's no hotel or anything like that. I went to Cap last year. The next 2 years, I'll be the chair of the Air District. So, anything above, whatever is allocated here, I would just ask the Air District if they'd be willing to pay that.
What's the number?
So that was
Is there a
32.
Is there a
If we budgeted 5,000 for Sarah and the 2 new members.
Is there, okay, at 32 is where you are? Okay, so you would need to have 15 that would come out of the IT fund, or, I mean, you want me to take this out of the vehicle? Is that what I heard?
I think, we could wait 2 weeks and you could figure out where you can find 15,000 in a $115 million budget. I don't think that's too hard to come up with, or we can scour it. Or you can take it out of the contingency fund that YK already alluded to. We have $640,000 left in it this year. Or we can take it out of the contingency fund next year. I mean, $15,000 isn't a lot. It's just allowing, and I appreciate Councilmember Rodriguez chiming in on her experience. It's not a ton of money we're talking about. We don't need to spend a lot of time on. I think that we can find this money.
Yeah, and I would suggest that the conversation about what we should all go to can be ongoing, and we can solve it
Absolutely.
as the year goes on, rather than hold the whole rest of the budget up to try and find a relatively small amount of money. But your comment has real merit. There are lots of things that we could do that might be highly valuable to the city. So that's what I would suggest, if that suits you.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, all right. So don't change anything right now.
Okay, that's what I was just going to ask. So was I just told to keep the travel budget as proposed?
Keep the travel budget as
Okay,
proposed,
all
but
right.
know that we're going to have an ongoing conversation
Okay,
about
thank you.
borrowing from other places if necessary. Okay. Less lettuce for the bears. No, I'm kidding. I want to go hang out in that walk-in cooler that
So
I
if no
saw
one
in the
has
pictures.
any more, I think we can elaborate a little bit more on the kids' play park.
I have a couple.
Oh, yeah, great.
Because we spent good amount of time for, 17,000. I'm okay with that. So, can no, please go ahead with the castle, but we are not done. I just want to run through a couple of items, and if we
I
want
was
to
just
make a
going to say,
motion.
I just, my understanding is that the pledges are hundreds of thousands for a kids' play park. We could even just to have more fiscal responsibility, reduce that amount by a little bit. Maybe keep, it's just an option. I think getting the public involved and getting them to be able to put their names on things, and it's real community development. And we can move forward with that right away. So I think we could reduce that amount a little bit if we wanted to have leeway in other things.
So is it 800,000, or what's the number that we're reducing it to? 800?
You still like 800,000?
Yeah, I mean, we can adjust it if they're super successful. We'll
That's
adjust
true.
it.
We're not going to spend it if we don't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the one. I like it. Mayor, is that okay?
Please.
Thank you. I'll make it fast. Kelly, one more time, thank you so much for bringing that slide 30. If, Stacy. Yeah, Stacy, in case you want to, pull that. The cost recovery, or, whatever we were talking in so many things. I'll write it down, those numbers. Thank you. My point I want to take, I agree various, wherever that the slide she put for cost recovery, the 50% to 75%, yep, little bit 33, yeah, one is good, we can talk. Thank you, that's enough for me. I'm looking at the detailed budget here. I'm going to pick some examples. I really want to, I love when the council is talking about $23,000 here to spend on their travel to learn things. Means we care about the dollars. Here are some of the things I really want to look back one more time, relook into one more time by going back to the Parks and Rec Commission. I'm going to throw the numbers, how these goes. The expenditure for community, cultural services, and community facilities. Right now, the expenditure is $2.9 million. The revenue for the same is $1.19 million. So there's almost close to $2 million we are spending, but there is no money. I'm just giving one example. I can read on through another couple of them. I think it is a high time. I don't know which percentage is that. Whether it is a bottom one, some I can see it, senior program. I'm okay, we are leaning towards the zero. We respect that, seniors, they have given everything. But this is a big percentage points. We really want to go back and talk about where we can get extra dollar. Yes, we have done it a couple of years ago, but we really want to relook into that in more close. Otherwise, I can see it here close to $2 million expenditures. We are only bringing $1.1 million. And I can go on in a couple of them. Maybe, I don't want to, I'm going to pick the Aquatic Center one more time. The expenditure is $2 million. And the revenue is, expenditure is $1.7 million, revenue is $1.1 million. There is a $600,000 more expenditure. So I know we are going to probably put this, into the move and approve, but we must go back and relook into a little bit more deep where we can get that extra dollar for our facilities and the income. It's in millions of dollars I'm talking here, not the thousands or so. And also, I think last time, I did see so many special events. Facility rentals is 50 to 75%. If it is on the 50% of the side, we have to really look into that. Even 75% is also less. Why can't we compete with the private sector by phasing up, stepping up? We got to relook into it. That's all I'm saying, because there is quite a bit of money on these charts. They have done excellent job before, but we got to go back to the drawing board one more time. There are money here.
We could definitely do a workshop in the future again on cost recovery, just with the cautionary note that when you attempt to recover more costs, you reduce the number of users, and so the math doesn't quite work. But I think it's a worthwhile discussion for sure.
The reasonableness should be coming, right? When we are only bringing the $1.1 million, when we are spending close to $3 million, that's quite a bit in that section. And the other one is, again, I think we were talking about the sales tax revenue. We were going this way, and other places are going. I'm not changing any money adjustments here. Can we take the serious note? I know in this budget we provide the target action items for people to accomplish here. What tasks they should be accomplishing. Taking a serious note, doing shop local campaign more and more. I'm going to throw some numbers. I know we were so successful during the COVID time to reaching the people. So successful. Even we have used by going to the church groups. Let's do it. We got to tell all the stuff we were talking before. We can't build that park. We can't complete that park. We can't do this castle park. We have to connect the dots to that one. I just want to make that point one more time. And the last one is, I know I mentioned enough public-private partnership. We got to get that ball rolling. This is not here, but I'm going to just put it again. I did put it, I think, first 2 years when I was on this council. Assistant city manager. She needs help. Elaine is doing an awesome job. Our city is growing. Every year, we are going in terms of the constructions, we are going in terms of the amenities and providing the services. And some of the things I really want to, I know, yes, it is going to be a $350,000 expenditure, But the return on that one, that person can take economic development arm for the city. Right now, here, we don't have those. Yes, our Christine Brainer is filling in that role right now, but a seasoned person who has a dedicated role. Okay, that's one. And the second one we touched on, I know I touched even before also, I came from the state. There is money out there that is paid by City of Folsom residents, grant money from federal and state. We are not seriously tapping on that. I am not seeing it, except our Mike's SACOG dollars is coming on. And also, our employee development. I think we seriously has to look into getting that city, assistant city manager, economic development vision, grants writing, get extra dollars, and our own employee development. Somebody needs to focus on it. City manager is super busy. That's where I'm going to pause, Mayor. So I just want to summarize. It is not cutting any dollars anywhere, but how do we get extra dollar irrespective of what's going to happen on Measure G?
So you're hoping for a new revenue source? For
New
this
revenue
okay.
sources.
Because the assistant city manager position, you're right, I have not had them in 5 of my 6 years. I have been running solo with my department heads. And we traded off that position, honestly. I remember distinctly the moment where we gave it up for a firefighter. It was like we were, those are the kind of choices we have to make, and the position is gone now. It's not in my budget. It is me, period. So yes, it would have to be a new revenue source like a sales tax measure or something else, an ongoing, recurring, dependable revenue source that could pay that person every single year.
Thank you, Elaine, for saying that one, but I see that differently. In last 6 years, we might have lost so many new businesses to Rancho Cordova because we don't have the driver. I'm saying, both sides of the coin here, where we can put our extra dollar to get, $2.
I just want to throw in there, YK, that, or Councilmember Chalam-Churla, that we do have the Folsom Economic Development Corporation that has been super active in looking at businesses that are interested in Folsom. So it's not like it hasn't been done. BedCorp does take on that responsibility, and they take a pretty serious approach at attracting businesses.
There was a decision made before I became city manager, for sure, that the economic development arm of the city of Folsom would live with Choose Folsom, and we contribute money accordingly. So that is the model. If we want to change the model, that's different, but that's the model.
I'm only saying it is a one part of the assistant city manager role as a representative from City of Folsom. Yes, I understand the chamber doing it. They're chamber at the end of the day. They can't be.
No, they're actually a specialized group of individuals that work on the Folsom Economic Development Corp. And they bring experts in. And yeah.
Mayor, I'm just going to make a closing statement quick. You guys can Google it. Every city has an economic development arm. There is a reason why. They are not simply relying on the Chamber of Commerce. They are great partners, but they can't be sold. Mayor, I think I'm concluding my comments on that one.
Very good, thank you.
So I want to add on to what YK said. I appreciate that you brought that up because, we did go, YK and I and Rosario voted last year for an economic development consultant, and we haven't seen their final results. I was in the previous meeting, unless there's been a meeting since, and they have a lot of really good things to implement. But we don't have an economic development department, and I think that is a couple things that you said, YK. We went through the cost to do that. We haven't seen the summary of it, the presentation yet, but I think it's going to be great and give us great ideas to work with Ted Corp and any other chamber out there, that kind of thing. But I think to have something in-house, the other thing that you hit on was the assistant city manager. We don't have any succession plan right now with our one employee. So, it is something that was brought up before I got on council 2 years in a row. And I think, so 21 and 22, and very much was being advocated for. And I think it's worthwhile to bring it back up, because I think we don't have that succession plan. We're able to fund 8 positions now, but somehow we lost sight of that economic development position. And I think the succession plan is really important to highlight. So while I can't see an opportunity to hear, I mean, we could, as a council, direct Elaine to go back and give us options on how to fund that. I don't think there's the political will, unless I hear something different from Councilmember Rodriguez. But I think that is something that we need to continue to think through and think forward to for the next budget cycle, or even after the sales tax revenue passes, for sure. That would be a lot easier. So I did want to just add on that. I'm still a little bit uncomfortable with $800,000 for Kids Play Park. I mean, this is in my district. I've been advocating it for. I've talked to I've talked to Mike about this, and the city manager, and a lot of community members. And I just think, with everything else that we're talking about, is it wise to take? I do feel like the community is going to be able to raise $300,000-$400,000, and so, if we're really that tight, then why don't we reduce it down to $700,000, and then we're not having to take it from IT fund, which I don't want to do. And maybe there's some other things that we can work towards, but we could engage in grant opportunities through the council members to travel and reach out for those opportunities. So I think what I would propose is $700,000 towards Kids Play Park, 300, and was it 300,000 specifically? I think it was, and then the 100,000 we could talk about if we want to extend that, use that in other ways, or if we want to put that back in the reserves or in the contingency fund, or take a piece to guarantee council travel.
Can I just make a clarifying comment? So I am not, I just want to clarify. So when it comes to FedCorp handling the economic development, I am fully supportive of that. I was a champion of when I asked for $100,000 for an economic development consultant, because what I observed was there was opportunities on the city side to be able to have some collaboration with FedCorp. So it was purely as a there was a missing link there. And so until we hear an update on what's going on, I think, it's an exciting part of the city right now. How is that going to look like for the next budget? I don't know, but I'm fully supportive of FedCorp, and I'm fully supportive of having the economic development consultant. And where it goes in the next few years, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is.
Even the River District and Central Business District is also coming very soon, which needs that economic development driver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Do we want to make a motion and
That's
do
what I
this thing
asked for
tonight?
first.
Should we just take pieces
I
to
think
change, and then we can make a motion for, because like the Benevento Park, I mean, that's such a simple thing, and it doesn't affect the general fund.
that's a dedicated source of
Correct.
funding. So
But
it's
if we
just-
all agree on it, to change the budget in that way, and then we can slowly, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah. Well, I think with regard to Castle/Kids Play Park, that is a definite change to what the budget plan says, and that one should be clear in any motion, okay? The recommendation to continue on the path of developing a phased approach to Benevento Park so that we have the option to spend less of the park-specific funds, I think that one we can revisit once the design is complete.
You mean, so take that part out of the budget, so that would be part of the motion?
I don't
Because that
think-
is in the budget. If we pass this budget as it is, 1.65 will now be dedicated towards Benevento Park. So we either have to take it out.
Yeah.
I'll just chime in on this. I'm not really inclined to Benevento and this Davies Park, I mean, these are years in the making. They've been vetted by the Parks and Rec Commission. And, you know, maybe going forward, there will be a conversation at the Parks Commission about, you know, do we want less fancy parks, right? But it just seems like if, you know, there's been a lot of work done on these things already, and to try to, you know, change course midstream, I just don't think is prudent. Yes, you know, Benevento, it's an expensive park, and a lot of that has to do with the topography, as you mentioned. But and also, when you're just thinking long-term in terms of maintenance, is it cheaper to maintain one nicer park or two not-so-nice parks? I got to assume it's cheaper to maintain one nicer park. Again, I'd rather that we, I'm fine with changing the kids' play park thing. I prefer to approve the budget with the CIP as it is, and then that can be a conversation going forward for the Parks and Rec Commission. You know, do they want to build Hondas instead of Mercedes? You know, I mean.
Yeah, so I think there's consensus to make the change about Kids Play Park, and the Benevento Park CIP budget change, maybe less so. That's what I was getting to.
So one of the languaging change, and then I think a commitment, one of the pushbacks I had when this was presented was that we were only guaranteeing that we were funding 3 of the police officers, 3 of the 6 positions. Now, there are 6 positions in the new budget, with the idea that they'll pay for it with cost savings. And, you know, our police department, when I looked back at the last, I think 11 budgets, I think they were only slightly over budget once or twice. So, you know, they already are very cost effective, one of the better departments at it. And so if you play the math out and everything goes perfectly, we wouldn't have enough money to fund the other 3 that would be unfunded. But in all likelihood, with the history of it, there will be. But I think to give confidence to the police department that we're committed to that, in the best case scenario, that if we get to 6 months and they're already meeting their budget, but they have 3 more positions to fill, that this council is saying to them, we're going to fund your 6 positions, continue to look at cost savings, but this is something that we're all dedicated to. We're probably not going to get there because there will probably be retirements or things like that, but I think in general, and to the public too, when they heard it was only 3 positions that were funded, it was very confusing. And I think verbally, if we can state when we do this budget that, hey, our priority is to fund these 6 positions, to get you 6 more positions hired as you fill in the other disability ones and all of that. I think that could go a long way with giving confidence to our police department, but also mostly our community.
I hear you. I disagree a little bit because part of what's in the budget is actually a chart that says how many positions the police department will have. So come hell or high water, we are adding 6 positions.
If they're having to go over budget, then you're saying, yes, come hell or high water, we are okay with that.
I'm not suggesting that they should go over
Oh, absolutely
budget.
not. I'm just saying, we're, 3 positions is.
What we're asking them to do is make a choice about when they have salary savings on that they no longer have the option to spend on other things besides salary. That's the thing that we're asking them
Right.
to do. So this is part and parcel of what we did with the fire department when we overhired for the station that's coming, and knew that we would end up with savings out of overtime, which has been a ongoing challenge there because of the way that their shifts work. So we are getting that savings right now, and it may not persist forever, but I think, I think the strategy that we're using with the police department is sound. I think it will work. And like I said, the budget says that we are adding 6 positions. So we're committing to pay for 6 positions one way or another.
Okay.
So
I think that's what I wanted to hear, is that this council is committing that no matter what happens, they do all the cost saving possible. We're committing to funding those 6 positions if they're able to completely fill out their staff.
I believe that is what we are saying.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor,
Is there
I'm going to
consensus?
attempt to make a motion. Let's see if we can move this thing along.
Okay.
I'm going to move to adopt resolution number 11210 with the following change, that instead of devoting
1.1
one,
million?
is it 1.1 or 1 million?
It's 1.1.
1.1 million to Kids Play Park. It would be a maximum of $800,000 to Kids Play Park and $300,000 to Parks and Rec to restore landscaping services to the January 2024 level for the 24-25 fiscal year. And I did say a maximum of $800,000, knowing that if they are wildly successful in their fundraising campaign, we'll have money to put back
We will
into
go on a
the,
trip to cap.
no, we'll have money to put back into the unassigned fund balance.
There we go. Okay. All right. That was flippant, not a substitute motion. Okay.
Does that
I
work?
made a note.
I would like to also direct the city manager part of that. Well, you need a second, so go ahead.
Do you want to second it?
No.
Was that your motion?
Yes.
The entire motion?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and second.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Is there discussion or a substitute motion?
Well, let me discuss it first. Unless I have a promise from the two council members that will be continuing to me about the travel, this is very important to me. I had to fight this year to go, and I don't want to have to fight to go. If other people don't want to go, that's fine. But I do believe that this is anyways, I do believe it's very important. It's such a minor amount. I think we could just easily add, and we direct the city manager to, take 10,000 more out of the contingency fund to fund possible travel, or there's a commitment that those three things that I want to go to, and then, the training for the new people, I point that way because there's several of them out there that are running. It could be a commitment from the council. And it's such a minor thing, so I don't want to hold up too much on it. But the Benevento Park, I think this is what gets us in trouble. We're going to allocate $1.65 million when the Parks and Rec Commission hasn't been able to go and digest and look at the cost, the escalating cost. And even what was presented was beautiful, but even some of the things that were presented weren't on that cost sheet. So I'm very uncomfortable with approving something. We've already approved $6.3 million for this park. So it's not like it's not going to continue to go. So I'm just very uncomfortable approving $1.65 million when there's 9 other parks that need to be developed. And I get what you're saying, Sarah, about, maybe it's just one park instead of 3 more at Empire Ranch. But that's a discussion I think the Parks and Rec Commission can have, and then they can come back. This is not something that we can't approve easily. It doesn't affect the general fund. It's not something we can't approve easily in 3 months or 6 months. So it shouldn't hold up anything, but it allows a full discussion to happen. And I think this is what our city gets in trouble, is we have pie-in-the-sky ideas, and they're beautiful things, but do we really need to spend $8 million on a park when maybe a $6.5 million is going to be sufficient? And maybe we need to look at the maintenance of scaling down some of these things. So that's where I'm uncomfortable as well.
I'm having flashbacks to 2018 because I said all those exact same things when Benevento came before us then. It's troubling the way that the cost escalates over time, but we have reached the point where we're about ready to pull the trigger, and the cost is the cost. The staff has been pretty good at predicting what those costs are likely to be, and further curtailing the scope. I was both treated as a hero and a villain by trying to curtail the scope the first time, or the second time, or the third time that I did. So,
Mayor, I just have, in support of what Anna was talking about, the Benevento 1.6 million, all the enhancements hasn't gone through the Parks and Rec and community. And the same way for Davis Park also. Yes, we talked about Davis Park.
wait, you're suggesting that the plan for Davies and for Benevento has not been deliberated by the Park
The
Commission?
latest one, yeah.
This has been in a park master plan for
The one we are
20-something years. It's been deliberated multiple times.
Oh, no. The cost for these dollars we are putting here right now.
Okay.
So please take me that way.
Okay.
Otherwise, there was no $6 million if that was not the case.
Sure.
Right? I was one of those parks commissioners when it first came.
Right.
The 1.6 millions and 1.1 millions for Davis Park, these are brand new. We are seeing right now. That hasn't gone through the Parks and Rec Commission vetting through what are all the things going on, amenities, that hasn't been called by the community for community inputs yet. So can we push off this through 3 months to 6 months, whatever? We always come back and reassess and add it to the budget. Anyway, this is coming from special funds.
Madam City Manager, Benevento Park, I have critiqued it many, many times.
Correct.
On this panel in the last 6 years. And I
Yes.
have been very critical of the elaborateness of it at different points.
Yes, you
whether
have.
or not the amenities that were in it were useful to the community at this point because it has taken so long to build it. I was part of the sort of plan to try and make it more important to our park program by putting sand volleyball courts in there.
Yes.
That will be premier. And I feel like I am having an out-of-body experience that the Parks Commission hasn't seen this and the community hasn't seen this. Is that true?
The community.
Has it only come to me here at the City Council to
He hasn't,
critique
he
it?
didn't say they hadn't
Eric
seen it.
Kozlowski, for number one.
I want clarity about the review
I
process
can give you
of this.
clarity.
Thank you.
The first policy conversation I can recall having with you when you were first elected was regarding Benevento Park.
Yes.
Number two, Mr. Nelson can certainly confirm there has been a large amount of public input and community involvement and discussions at the commission level and at the council level regarding Benevento in different forms. So has not been, a secret, that's for sure. Lots of talk about it.
Okay, so this supposed value of construction that we don't know yet because we haven't put it out for RFQ,
Right.
but we suspect it is that. Has that been discussed with the Parks Commission? And is that under their purview?
Thank you for asking that question, Mayor. That was my question.
Okay.
Has that been discussed? Are there more amenities coming or something else is going? That's what I'm asking. Not the $6.5 million originally.
Well, no, it's material to what you're asking
mean
is
the
park
delta.
plan,
Exactly.
the proposed amenities definitely are things that the Park Commission ends up discussing. Is the budget within their purview or not in terms of giving us advice?
Brad, are you able to
Because I don't recall
tackle
the Parks Commission opining on the
what
cost of
they've
things
seen
necessarily.
and when, please?
It's all about Delta, guys. Again, I want to make sure here. I'm not talking the fundamental things. Yes, Brad.
So the Park Commission has seen the plan that you were presented tonight, or that was presented tonight. They had approved they made a recommendation to the City Council to approve the previous amount, the previous funding. This year, they did not review the 1.6 in addition to the project budget.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying it here. That Delta hasn't gone through them and vetted through the discussions, whatever it is.
I see.
That's
Okay.
the second one is also the same way you mentioned. I'm picking up from your conversation for the Davis Park also. We have done it. It hasn't gone through.
Davies has gone through quite a few years ago, that same amount. There's no additional funding being requested for Davies.
We're just following through on.
It's just following through on the completion of it.
And the 1.6 additional that you're requesting for Benevento Park, that is basically cost escalation for a design that has already been approved by the commission.
That's correct, yes.
So the danger of holding back that money or delaying this process is you now have paid for a design that you're not going to execute or you're going to spend more money to change. Is that right, Brad?
We would have to cut, we have, the design was based on the earlier budget, but which was 2-3 years ago, and now those costs have escalated. So that's why we'd like to build it sooner than later.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
the
we're
costs
chasing a
continue
moving
going up.
train. here.
Right, right.
So
yeah.
one thing I'd like to propose is, I think there was a lot that got said tonight that's really positive. A lot of information got shared. We heard from the public, but I don't think there's going to be very many new ideas. Sorry, it's not a question for you, Brad. If you don't want to stay up there, I mean, you can. You're
Thank you,
welcome
Brad.
to. I don't know if it's an alternative motion or, I would rather now let us think about what was everything that was said, priorities. The community is going to want to reach out to us before it's too late. I can imagine it could be a fairly quick 20, 30-minute conversation in 2 weeks, but we have time, so why don't we just absorb this? We're really, really close, and put this off for 2 weeks. I mean, that's part of their budget process. There's, then we can kind of talk to the people that are affected by the things that we're talking about and come in with either the same information that we have or better information.
I'm fine with that. I'll withdraw my motion. I'm fine continuing it.
Okay, so is the consensus of the council then to revisit this, table this until the next city council meeting? Or is there anybody else that would like to make a motion?
The entire budget, right, Mayor?
Yeah, I mean, we're, okay.
So is there anything, so, I
to bring
came prepared this time with answers to all your questions. Is next time just turning it over to you to just deliberate, or is there any expectation of a staff presentation? And if so, what would be in it?
No, I think it's going to
Mayor,
be
I'm not looking
information.
at anything.
I don't have a homework assignment for you.
I mean, I would appreciate it if you could look at where you could find $15,000 in cost savings and paper. I don't care. I mean, I think you can find that much money. So, but that's probably not going to hold up the whole process. But thank you, Sarah, Council Member.
Travel budget of 40,000 for an increase of 23,000. That's what
Well, I was just saying another 15 at this point from where I'm seeing where.
So where to find 15?
That's, yeah. Or, present something, I guess. But thank you, Councilmember Aquino, for being willing.
Okay. Hearing no further comment, we are moving on. Council requests for future agenda items. Please be brief, because we've got this to do next time. YK, anything?
Nope, I'll
Sarah?
wait for next meeting.
Okay. All right. Anna?
What was it? Agenda items, sorry.
Future agenda items.
I think, just say no. Okay. It's going to be about, I would like to have a discussion of a cost recovery, but that might go to Parks and Rec or something in the future of, relooking at those, but I think that's already happening, so I'll talk to Kelly about it, so.
Okay, got it.
I would just be interested to know, when are we going to have the presentation on what the economic development consultant has come up with and what recommendations they're making to the city?
Yeah, I think that Christine has taken the lead on bringing that back, and I think it's going to be in the probably, obviously after we clear this budget process, but I would think early fall. The last draft we saw needed work, so we'll get it to you as soon as we can.
All right. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Designated city-owned open spaces with high fire potential are now off limits in Folsom. Under the Folsom Fire Code, the Folsom Fire Chief can temporarily close city-owned open spaces to protect the public's health, life, and safety by preventing wildfires. All existing public trails, bicycle paths, and parks remain open. Closed areas have been marked with signage. To report concerns of potential violations, please call the Folsom Police Department at 916-461-6400. Operating a business within the city of Folsom requires a business license certificate. This ensures compliance with local regulations and supports city services that benefit all residents and businesses. The city's partner administrator, HDL, mails and emails annual business license renewals the first week of June. Renewals are due by June 30th. So for more information or assistance in becoming compliant, please email folsom@hdlgov.com. The Folsom Fire Department, in collaboration with the El Dorado Hills Fire Department, is seeking 4 high school-aged applicants from the Folsom area for the 2024-25 Fire Explorer Program. This program is designed by for high school students interested in pursuing a career in fire service. Applications are due Saturday, June 15th. That's this Saturday. For more information and access to the application, visit the Fire Explorer Program at www.edhfire.com. PG&E crews are resuming gas meter maintenance work on meters in Sacramento County, including Folsom. The maintenance is expected to be completed by the end of October. It will replace a device attached to gas meters that communicates gas usage. This work is not related to a safety issue, but is essential to maintaining accurate billing. For more information, you can visit pgne.com. And the free Friday evening concert series kicks off this season with Remedy 7, featuring a unique mix of classic rock, pop, country, blues, and original songs. The band plays from 7 to 9 p.m. this Friday in Folsom City Lions Park. Stay up to date on all concert details at our Facebook page, at Folsom Parks and Rec Facebook page, at Folsom Parks and Rec. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Excellent. Rosario?
I have nothing tonight.
Anna?
No, I don't.
Okay. YK?
Quick one, the one I went for your Eagle Scouts
Oh,
at
yeah.
Aerojet, it was awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
It was awesome. Great staff was very, thankful to you, Mayor, and our council for going all the way there.
Thank you for doing that.
Right, thank you again. And I know we have some new trees going on in our town. Every year we plant, and first 3 years we have to give them some supplemental water until they establish. I think I'm pulling the youth and working with our Parks and Rec department. It's starting now because now we are hitting the 100 degrees temperature. So it's coming on. And for my colleagues here, I will be starting the discussions with the California Tax and Fee Administration. And I'll be reaching out to Mayor of El Grove to explain to her the problems and see whether we can start from local. People from Orange County may not be coming, even they have no clue what it is. But we are local, we can go there. Now the picketing is not at the county, at the tax administration.
At the Capitol, okay.
So anyone wants to join me, please feel free. Otherwise, I'll be giving an update every 2 weeks or 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Nothing. Okay, I have a bunch of things, strangely. I've had a busy couple of weeks. I got to go to the graduation at Powerhouse Ministries for their youth leadership program, and a couple of really fantastic young people. I was able to give them an award from the city for having achieved that great milestone of spending 2 years in that program and coming out a much, much better person. So congratulations to them once again. SACOG, we met last week for the Land Use Committee. The preferred scenario for the MTP SCS is almost fully baked at this point and has been recommended to the structure of it has been recommended to the full SACOG board. So that 2.5-year process of getting a update to the MTP SCS, which is now going to be called the Blueprint 2020-2035 or something like that, is continuing. I had the opportunity to meet with a couple of business owners about the progress of the Central Business District Committee, and shared these comments with the city manager and the planning director. But generally, it seems like some diversions happened in the discussion there. So refocusing things on the city-controlled parts of that area so that we can make improvements to the zoning ordinance potentially, but physical improvements to the right-of-ways for wayfinding and identity and safety are what it was what those business owners wanted us to do, and I agree with them completely. So if we can, to the extent that we're able to refocus things there. We had a Sacramento Regional Transit meeting yesterday, and the staff there got a little bit of heat for the budget because we're in budget cycle there also. Not having the level of detail that they'd like to see. And the things that they were asking for are things that we regularly include in our budget. So I just wanted to thank the staff for doing an outstanding, exemplary job of building the budgets, because it is pretty plain as day the programs that we're funding and the positions that we're funding, and that isn't exactly the case in the RT budget to the extent that people wanted to see it. I asked the question, the executive director of regional transit did a elaborate presentation of all the good things that have happened at RT in the past year, and in there was a missing piece. So I asked them, what is the actual schedule for the double track project? So Mark, I'm just going to ask you to please follow up on that question that I posed to them. They didn't have a real confident answer about when it was going to be done. It has moved from what was going to be June, July to sometime as late as October, it sounds like, but they were hedging all the time I was posing that question to them.
Latest information I have, Mayor.
Yeah, the challenge I gave them was that the cones on Folsom Auburn Road are less disruptive to our overall lives here in Folsom than getting Glen Street back open. So if you can press them on that, I'd appreciate it. I've had a number of community meetings with the folks from Folsom Takes Action. They are doing a fantastic job pressing forward on Measure G. I was the guest speaker at the Heart of Folsom meeting this past week, and what a great bunch of people that have real empathy for trying to correct homelessness. The vice mayor and I were invited to a community party up in the Plan area, hosted by Cav Randawa and his lovely wife. It was great fun, and there is a really strong community of people that love Folsom forming in those neighborhoods down there in the newest part of Folsom. So that was really encouraging. And then finally, I got to meet Eric Estrada at Red Bus Brewing on Sunday afternoon, because he came to visit because the owner of Red Bus decided to make a beer using only hops that are called Strata hops. And his name is Eric, so he decided to call the beer Eric E. Strada, and ran into a guy who owns the motorcycle that Eric Estrada rode in the TV show Chips, and said, "Hey, I know Eric Estrada. I can get you on the phone with him." And then here we are. So anyway, with that, thank you very much. We are adjourned.